Chapter 27. Mu Tian's words showed that he had great confidence in the two of them. Do you really want to die? Longao, is there something wrong with your head? From Mu Feng and Mu Yang's point of view, their cousin seemed a little abnormal. Could it be because of what happened 10 years ago? They didn't have the slightest bit of sympathy. From their point of view, trash was trash. It was a little embarrassing to be related to such a person. If they could use this opportunity to kill him, wouldn't it be wonderful? Through their eyes, Longao could already guess what Mu Feng and Mu Yong were thinking. You're heartless. Don't blame me for being unrighteous. You asked for it. He took out the wild devouring blade from the dragon seal space. On the surface, the wild devouring blade looked extraordinarily ordinary. It was just an ordinary blade. However, everyone was very curious as to how he took out this blade. Fourth brother, do you want to go first, or should I? Third brother, there's no need to use a sledgehammer to kill a chicken. I can handle it alone. No need. Both of you can come at me together. Hearing Long Ao's words, everyone's face was a little strange. They didn't know what was going on with this trash from the Long family. Was he really confident that he could fight two people at once? Staring at his son not far away, Longy was the only one who knew that his son wasn't a reckless person. Moreover, he had received news that his son had killed Yang Chen. One had to know that Yang Chen was also a martial artist at the 10th heavenly layer. Could it be that Ao could really fight two people at once? Third brother, since this trash wants to die, we'll fulfill his wish. Mu Yong and Mu Feng nodded. Suddenly, Mu Yong and Mu Feng rushed out. Both of them were at the 10th firmament of internal force. Without using any martial techniques, they could unleash a powerful attack with just their internal force. A normal martial artist at the 10th firmament of internal force would not be able to withstand their combined attack. In everyone's point of view, the two of them only needed one move to defeat this trash from the Long family. Just when everyone was expecting the outcome, Long Ao suddenly moved. He used wind steps and heart-locking palm to lightly slap the two of them. Although there was a huge difference between Stage 9 and Stage 10, it still depended on who the opponent was. Long Ao's speed was extremely swift. In the beginning, he didn't utilize Bloodsucker Frenzied Saber, and his right palm successively collided with each of their palms. The three of them respectively retreated. Mu Feng and Mu Yong retreated 3 steps, whereas Long Ao retreated an entire 7 steps before barely being able to stand firm. As the saying goes, once an expert makes a move, one will know whether or not he is an expert. Mu Feng and Mu Yong were slightly surprised. No wonder he was so arrogant. It turns out that he had some strength. Not only the two of them, even the surrounding people, including Mu Che, Mu Tian, Mu Yihang, and Mu Yihao, were a little surprised. Looks like this kid has indeed reached the 9th level of internal force. Yihang and Yihao weren't lying. Big brother, didn't you say that 10 years ago, this trash was unable to condense the endless cycle? So his cultivation fell back to the 3rd sky of the Hotian realm, and in these 10 years, he has not been able to successfully condense the internal strength? If that's the case, then how can this trash reach the 9th level of internal force? As his sister's only son, Long Ao's every move could be said to be under the Mu family's control. 10 years of being a trash, suffering all kinds of humiliation, the Mu family also clearly knew. It was precisely because of this that Mu Tian was somewhat puzzled. This point is indeed a little strange. In these past few years, our surveillance of the Long family has decreased by a lot. Looks like we have been negligent. Big brother, in your opinion, does this kid have a chance of winning? Absolutely impossible. Not to mention Fo, and Yong, or joining hands. Even one of the two of them can easily defeat Long Ao. Don't worry too much. For a moment, the surrounding people repeatedly discussed because in their hearts, the trash who couldn't even withstand a single move actually fought to a draw with the two of them. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, it would really be hard to believe. So you have some strength. But Long Ao, I still have to tell you that trash will always be trash. No matter how much you deceive yourself, you will always be trampled under our feet. Is that so? Looking at the trace of a sneer on each other's mouth, for some reason, Mu Feng and Mu Yong both shuddered at the same time. The two of them looked at each other and saw a trace of surprise in each other's eyes. Without any further hesitation, the two of them moved again. This time, the The two of them obviously used their full strength and were prepared to end the battle quickly. They wanted to tell everyone that the Mu family was inviolable, especially the lowly Long family. Ao, be careful. There was no need for Long Yi's reminder at all, as Long Ao had already reacted. As his body quickly retreated, he continuously pointed out two fingers with the mysterious heavenly finger. The powerful finger force seemed to be able to penetrate everything. Even Mu Feng and Mu Yong didn't dare to meet force with force. The two of them were slightly shocked because the martial skill that the other party used just now was obviously stronger than the martial skill that they possessed. In an instant, intense greed appeared in their eyes. After all, powerful martial skills were something that martial artists yearned for even in their dreams. Mu Feng and Mu Yong attacked ceaselessly from the left and right. No matter what, the two of them were martial artists at the 10th level of inner energy. When they joined forces, their might was sufficient to multiply. With Long Ao's current strength, it was utterly impossible for him to be a match for the two of them. How could Long Ao not know about this? But Long Ao was even more clear that Blood Drinker couldn't be casually used. Otherwise, once it left his body, he would see blood. Unless it was a last resort, he was truly unwilling to kill the two of them at this moment. But every single move that the two of them used was vicious, and every single move was the most ruthless killing move. If he was slightly careless, he would be mercilessly killed by the two of them. Look, the trash can't hold on any longer. Trash is trash. How could he be a match for third brother and fourth brother? He really doesn't know what's good for him. Third brother, fourth brother, help me kill him. So long as Mui Hao and Mui Hong thought of the humiliation they suffered earlier, the rage in their hearts would erupt like a volcano. If it wasn't for them not daring to fight, they believed that the two of them would absolutely not let go of this rare opportunity. Since you want me to die, then you might as well die first. In the end, Long Ao still had the intention to kill. He repeatedly endured it, but the other party didn't care at all. Every single move was vicious and could kill him at any time. Blood Drinker Wild Saber. Long Ao held Blood Drinker Wild Saber in his hand. Purely relying on his inner energy, he fiercely slashed towards the two of them. Blood Drinker, which was still very ordinary just now, instantly emitted an unparalleled killing intent. The entire blade seemed to be dyed red with blood. Two rays of saber light instantly shot out like lightning, fiercely slashing towards the two of them. The shocking saber light completely shocked everyone because no one was willing to believe that the trash in their eyes could actually use such a saber light. Could it be that the opponent was a Xiantian martial artist? Chapter 28. The shocking blade gleam shot out with unstoppable force. Mu Feng and Mu Yong did not have any thoughts of resisting. They were so scared that they fell to the ground. Their faces were pale and filled with despair. Be *starred, how dare you? Mu Che did not care about what he had just said. He roared. Before he even arrived, the terrifying spiritual energy of heaven and earth had already descended. Boom! There was a loud sound. Long Ao and Mu Che both took 3 steps back. Looking at the scene in front of them, everyone was completely stunned. They didn't dare to believe what was happening in front of them. Be *starred. I didn't expect you to be so ruthless. If you continue to live in this world, wouldn't you be a scourge? Today, I will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. Chair, stop. Big brother, don't. Just as Mu Che was about to attack, 2 voices sounded at the same time. Then, Mu Wanfeng and Mu Lin quickly came over. They shielded Long Ao behind them. Mu Lin said firmly, Big brother, if you want to kill me. Shaolin, you. Chair, no matter what, he's still your nephew. You've gone too far. As the head of the Mu family, Mu Wanfeng's position in the Mu family was unparalleled. Even Mu Che did not dare to be impudent in front of her. After respectfully retreating, Mu Che said angrily, Mother, Long Ao is so daring. He almost killed Feng, and Yong. If we don't kill him, waving her hand, Mu Wanfeng did not give Mu Che any chance to continue. She said with interest, 9th heaven of inner strength. To be able to produce such a blade gleam, not bad. Your Shaolin's son? Nodding, Long Ao was very surprised. It seemed that his grandmother was really powerful. She could tell his strength at a glance. He said, "Yes, today's matter is over. No matter who it is, don't pursue it." Mu Wanfeng had already spoken. Even if Mu Che and Mu Tian were unwilling, they still chose to accept it. Since things had already escalated to this point, Long Yi, Mu Lin, and Long Ao did not continue to stay. They left the Mu family. Even third brother and fourth brother were defeated. Is there really no way for us to take revenge? Looking at the trash who left safely, Mu Yihao's face was filled with unwillingness and anger. I won't let him have it easy. I'm going to find second brother now. Are you crazy? Grandma once said that we shouldn't disturb second brother's cultivation. I don't care, as long as I can kill Long Ao, even if I have to risk being punished by grandmother. The matter of Long Ao defeating the joint forces of Mu Feng and Mu Yong in the Mu clan had instantly spread throughout the entire Long clan, and everyone that received the news turned pale with fright. It was precisely at this moment that everyone had a new understanding of Long Ao. Everyone knew that the trash from back then had made a comeback and soared to the sky. He was strong enough to defeat 2/10 heavenly layer internal strength martial artists. In the following days, Long Ao used the 10 million gold coins his father gave him to buy beast cores. In addition to the beast cores he got in the Thunder Cloud Forest, he had a total of 100 beast cores. Long Ao was helpless about his own sacred desolation body. After all, if he wanted to break through the realm, he needed too much power. Even if he had 100 beast pills, he roughly calculated that he could at most break through the 10th layer of internal strength. However, if he wanted to reach the so-called innate realm, 100 beast pills were far from enough. After giving the 100 beast cores to Long Fu, Long Ao took out the bloodthirsty broadsword and immediately began to comprehend it. He didn't know why, but he felt a message from the bloodthirsty broadsword flowing into his mind. It seemed to be a martial skill. Bloodthirsty 8 styles? A saber technique called the Bloodthirsty 8 styles slowly appeared in Long Ao's mind. According to the cultivation method, Long Ao held the bloodthirsty wild saber and started to brandish it. At first glance, the saber technique was very messy. It was even inferior to the lowest grade of martial technique. But at this moment, Long Ao was more and more shocked because he found that each style of the Bloodthirsty 8 styles contained a terrifying power. For example, the first style, Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, was stronger than the previous one. One style could be changed into 9 styles, one saber stacked on top of another. The power was unstoppable. It was the Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. A month passed in the blink of an eye. In this month, Long Ao could be said to have never left. In addition to studying alchemy, he focused on the first style of the Bloodthirsty 8 styles, Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. Moreover, relying on the energy that Long Fu refined, his cultivation smoothly broke through to the 10th heavenly layer. With a loud bang, the alchemy furnace suddenly exploded, and 3 black lights shot out from inside. He was overjoyed and grabbed the 3 black pills in his hand. He excitedly said to himself, "It seems that I'm really an alchemy genius. In just a month, I've successfully refined the essence-gathering pill. It's time to fulfill the bet." In this month, Long Ao either studied the essence-gathering pill or refined it. After failing hundreds of times, he finally succeeded in refining the essence-gathering pill on the last day. He could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Alchemy Guild. There were many people in the Alchemy Alliance today. Aside from the fatty, the rest were the disciples of the Mu, Long, Duanmu, and City Lord's mansion. Among them were Lu Ji, Long Yulong, Mu Feng, Mu Yong, Mu Yihao, and Mu Yihong. Long Ao, if you choose to admit defeat now, I'm a magnanimous person and can let you go. As long as you kneel in front of me and kowtow 3 times, this matter will be written off. How about it? The fatty's words caused the entire hall to burst into laughter. Everyone's faces were filled with disdain and contempt. A piece of trash actually wanted to refine the essence-gathering pill in a month? Was that even possible? Long Yi and the others looked at Long Ao, who was standing alone in the center, and felt a bit sad. This was the result of having a low status in the family. If Longao wasn't a disciple of the Long family and was a disciple of one of the 4 giants of Thundercloud City, who would dare to look down on him? Big Brother Long, I heard that this piece of trash wants to challenge you in a year's time. Is that true? It was unknown whether Lu Ji did it on purpose or not, but everyone could hear her voice. Instantly, everyone's gaze shot towards Long Yulong, waiting for his reply. Nodding his head, Long Yulong said mockingly, "It's true. I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen such a shameless person. He wants to become famous and actually uses challenging Big Brother Long as a pretense. This kind of person is really shameless. I'm shameless, but I'm much better than some people. Before laughing at others, first look in the mirror and see if you're qualified to laugh at others." Chapter 29. He showed no mercy at all. As the daughter of the city lord, Lu Ji had never been humiliated like this before. Before Lu Ji could rage, Long Yulong sneered and said, "Miss Lu, why waste your breath on trash like this? I'll teach this trash a lesson for you after a year. Trash will always be trash. You even have to wait a year for a challenge. I really don't know what's the point of people like you living in this world." Lu Ji ridiculed without restraint. She wanted to let everyone know that the young man in front of her was trash. If that's the case, then we don't have to wait a year. Long Yulong, I challenge you now. Do you dare to accept? Challenge Long Yulong? Seeing the young man's sudden challenge, everyone was completely shocked. Their faces were filled with mockery and disdain. A trash like this dared to challenge Long Yulong? What was the difference between this and seeking death? Aoer, don't be reckless. Father, I know what I'm doing. Staring at Long Yulong, Long Ao continued to ask, I formally challenge you. Long Yulong, do you dare to accept? Ha ha ha, why wouldn't I? I'd like to see how a trash like you can challenge me today. As if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. Not only Long Yulong, even the surrounding people burst into laughter. They all looked at Long Ao with mockery. I wonder if this trash's brain is damaged. He actually dares to challenge Long Yulong. Why else would he be called trash? There's a good show to watch this time. Long Ao, since you want to challenge me, then I'll say it first. Fists and legs have no eyes and swords have no mercy. When the time comes, if I accidentally kill you, I won't be responsible. Thundercloud City's Long family and Scarlet Fire Town's Long family had always belonged to the Long family. As a genius disciple of the Long family, Long Yulong naturally didn't want to hear others say that he bullied the weak, especially the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Long Ao was no fool. Of course, he understood the meaning of his words. He said indifferently, "You and I will fight to the death. Life and death are fated. Riches and honor are up to the heavens. Life and death are fated. Riches and honor are in the hands of the heavens. I'll wait for you outside." With that, Long Yulong turned around and left. Everyone came out one after another, wanting to see how the Long family's genius would kill the good-for-nothing. Long Ao, who was walking at the back, was stopped by Long Yi and Mu Lin. The two of them said in an extremely worried voice, Aoer, Long Yulong is a Xiantian martial artist. With your current strength, how can you be his opponent? Father, there are some things that you must do even if you know it's impossible. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Mu Lin and Long Yi's faces were still filled with worry as they watched their son leave. However, both of them knew their son's character very well. Once he had decided on something, it would be very difficult to change his mind. Outside the Alchemy Guild, the surrounding area was completely surrounded, leaving only an empty space in the middle. In the open space, Long Yulong and Long Ao stood face to face. Long Yulong's eyes were filled with mockery and disdain. In the eyes of a Xiantian martial artist, a Hotian martial artist was nothing but a joke. 3 moves. I'll kill you in 3 moves. Everyone felt that Long Yulong's arrogance was natural. He was a super genius of the Long family who had broken through to the Xiantian realm at such a young age. On the other hand, Long Ao was a complete good-for-nothing who hadn't even been able to condense his inner strength in 10 years. In everyone's eyes, Long Ao's challenge was undoubtedly suicide. Long Ao didn't say anything. This time, he didn't challenge Long Yulong on impulse. This was because before the challenge, He had already consumed the 3 essence gathering pills that he had just refined. Longao's intention was very simple. He wanted to rely on a battle of life and death to break through to the Xiantian realm. Success or failure depended on this battle. If he won, he would break through to the Xiantian realm. If he lost, he would lose his life. But in the end, Longao still chose to challenge. After all, he had full confidence that he would be able to break through to the Xiantian realm in a year's time. But 1 year was a bit too long. More and more onlookers gathered and surrounded the Dan Guild. At this time, Lu Ji deliberately raised her voice and said, "Longao, if you kneel down now and apologize to Brother Long, maybe Brother Long will forgive you. Otherwise, when he kills you, you won't even have the chance to regret." Longao knew that Lu Ji didn't care about him. She just wanted to scold him in front of everyone. This kind of woman was as ugly as snakes and scorpions. No matter how beautiful she was, what could she do? With a cold snort, Longao said coldly, "If I win, you can consider going to the Yihong brothel as a guest." "You." Waving his hand, Long Yulong said, "Miss Lu, there's no need to argue with him. Later, I'll make him kneel in front of Miss Lu and apologize." "Cut the crap." Long Ao took out the blood-sucking broadsword from the dragon seal space. No matter what, the other party was still a Xiantian warrior. If he didn't use his full strength, he might not even have the slightest chance. "Brother Long, what weapon do you use?" "No need." Long Yulong's face was full of arrogance and pride. In his opinion, even if he wanted to defeat the other party with his bare hands, it would be a simple matter. There was no comparison between a Hotian warrior and a Xiantian warrior. It was as if one was in the sky and the other was on the ground. First move. Long Yulong's figure moved. It seemed very slow, but in fact it was very fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of Long Ao. His right hand formed a palm and gently slapped out. A Xiantian warrior used his own body as a medium to draw the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into his body to form spiritual energy. After the Xiantian realm was completely stabilized, he could use spiritual energy to fight against enemies. It could also be added to weapons such as swords and swords. It was because of this that Long Yulong's seemingly ordinary palm actually used spiritual energy. Of course, Long Ao knew this. He didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless. The blood-sucking broadsword in his hand swept out, bringing with it a cold blade light. Blade light? Long Yulong seemed a little surprised. After all, under normal circumstances, it was impossible for a Hotian warrior to use sword chi and blade light. After a short moment of surprise, Long Yulong already knew what had happened. Although he didn't know how the other party did it, Long Yulong was 100% sure that the blade light released by the other party was completely different from the sword chi and blade light released by a Xiantian warrior. It was because the other party didn't have any spiritual energy. A blade light without the support of spiritual energy had no lethality at all. Only a Xiantian warrior would dare to use his palm to block the blade light. Pong! The palm and the blade light collided, creating a burst of sparks. But a Xiantian warrior was still a Xiantian warrior. Just the support of spiritual energy alone was not something a Hotian warrior could compare to. After dispersing the blade light with a palm, Long Yulong took advantage of the victory to pursue the attack. Palm after palm struck out rapidly. It was the Long family Xiantian martial technique, the firmament palm. Palm shadows filled the sky like a spiderweb. In just a few seconds, Long Ao was struck no less than 30 times. Spitting out blood, Long Ao did not have any strength to counterattack. The difference between a Hotian realm and a Xiantian realm martial artist was too great. Just the spiritual energy of a Xiantian realm martial artist was not something a Hotian realm martial artist could withstand. Trash, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times. Also, say that I was wrong and I'll spare your life. In your dreams. Enduring the pain from his body, Long Ao still waved the bloodthirsty blade in his hand and clenched his teeth. I'll give you one last chance. Kneel or not. Go to hell. Long Ao fiercely slashed with his blade. Clenching his teeth, he finally stood firm. However, at this moment, Long Ao was already covered in blood. It was as if he had been dyed in blood. No matter how many times he was slapped, Longao tried to stand and did not kneel down. Looking at the stubborn young man who was covered in blood, everyone was moved. There were even some who began to feel pity for the young man and even had a trace of admiration for him. Aoer, give up. Looking at his son who was covered in blood but still refused to give up, Long-E seemed to be on the verge of collapse. However, the two of them were fighting fairly and he could not participate. However, Longao still stubbornly shook his head and coldly said, "A martial artist would rather die standing than live on his knees. A martial artist would rather die standing than live on his knees." Hearing this, someone in the crowd shouted, "Good." Instantly, applause and cheers came from all around. They were cheering for this stubborn young man who would rather die than live on his knees. They were cheering for this stubborn young man who would rather die standing than live on his knees. Rather die standing than live on his knees. Longao, this is your own death. You can't blame anyone else. At this moment, due to the battle with Longao, Longao was being pressured step by step. The 3 spirit-gathering pills that he had consumed earlier were rapidly fusing with his body. With the help of Long Fu, he seemed to have broken through the critical point, which was the so-called bottleneck. On the surface of Longao's body, a not too strong suction force began to appear and began to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. As the saying goes, even if you haven't eaten pork, you've seen pigs run. He's absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Someone exclaimed. Everyone's face was filled with shock as they looked at the youth in disbelief. Especially Long Yulong. His face was filled with disbelief. If the other party was absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, didn't this mean that the youth had broken through to the Xiantian realm? Breaking through in the middle of a battle? Of course, Long Yulong could not accept this fact. The surrounding crowd was already in an uproar. They were all excitedly clapping, as if praying that the youth could successfully break through to the Xiantian realm. Impossible. This is impossible. How did this trash do it? Long Yulong's face turned cold instantly, taking advantage of the other party's weakness to kill him. The fact that this kid could break through in the middle of a battle was already a testament to his talent and potential. If he left this kid alive, it would be like nurturing a tiger. In order to not cause trouble for himself in the future, he was prepared to kill him. Since you don't want to kneel, I'll fulfill your wish and let you die standing. Long Yulong, do you have any shame? You actually want to take advantage of him? At this moment, Wang Yuyin, who had returned to the Alchemy Guild, saw that Long Yulong wanted to take advantage of Long Ao's weakness. She immediately shot out and protected him behind her, completely ignoring the fact that the person in front of her was a Xiantian martial artist. Well done. Tough girl, we worship you. Humph, Long Ao is trash, and so are you. Don't blame me for not reminding you. We're having a fair battle now. If you force your way in, I'll have to kill you as well. Long Yulong's eyes were filled with endless killing intent, especially when he saw that Long Ao was absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Just as Yuyin was about to say something, Long Ao, who had not moved all this while, suddenly patted Wang Yuyin with his right hand and said firmly, "Yuyin, leave this person to me." Chapter 31. Long Ao, be careful. Yuyin, who had always believed in her man, turned around and retreated. Looking at the bloody youth, everyone was moved. He was already beaten to such a state, but he was still persevering. Just this perseverance alone was worthy of respect. Long Ao, you're courting death. Long Yulong had already made up his mind to kill him. The other party's strength and potential had already exceeded his imagination. If he were to let this person continue living, the consequences would be unimaginable. Moreover, the other party had already successfully absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth from the battle just now. As long as he stabilized it a little, he would officially break through to the Xiantian realm. At this moment, Long Ao's eyes were cold. With the help of the 3 energy-gathering pills and Long Fu's help, his cultivation had successfully broken through the boundary of the heaven and earth spiritual qi. The heaven and earth spiritual qi in his body continuously flowed into every part of his body. Die. Holding the bloodthirsty blade tightly with both hands, he gathered all the energy in his body into his hands. With a loud roar, the yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes were instantly released. One strike after another, the 9 consecutive strikes stacked together and fiercely chopped towards Longao. Shocking murderous aura, bloody blade light, and the yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes released by the bloodthirsty blade instantly skyrocketed in power. Looking at the youth who was like a god of war, everyone was stunned. Each and every one of them looked at the blood-red youth in a daze. No one knew how the youth's strength had taken a 180-degree turn in just a few seconds. Longao did not want to believe such a fact, but Longao did not give him any chance. The shocking blade light had already broken through the air, and the murderous aura spread in all directions. Anyone who felt this murderous aura was shocked and took a few steps back. There were even some who were so scared that their faces turned pale and they fell to the ground. Longao is finished. Everyone looked at the two sides in the battle. With such a huge reversal in strength, they all knew that Longao was completely finished this time. Such a vicious aura. I can't let you live. With a roar, a shocking aura descended from the sky. In the blink of an eye, an old man appeared in front of Longao. His face was gloomy and cold. Both of his palms moved together, and a terrifying spiritual energy directly dispersed the shocking blade light. Even so, the old man was still forced back 3 steps. This time, the old man was completely stunned. He was actually forced back by the opponent's blade light? Grandpa, Himph, a small piece of trash from the Scarlet Fire Town's Long clan, actually almost killed you. From now on, you will immediately shut yourself in and reflect on your mistakes. Without my permission, you are not allowed to take half a step out of the Long clan.
Yes.
Longao did not dare to disobey his grandfather who had suddenly appeared in front of him because his grandfather, Long Yanchen, was one of the strongest existences in Thundercloud City. Grandpa? Wasn't Longao's grandfather Long Yanchen? Looking at the old man who had suddenly appeared, everyone was shocked. This was because the head of the Long family, Long Yanchen, was an extremely legendary figure. Back then, the Long family in Thundercloud City was only a small 8th-level family. It was because of Long Yanchen's sudden appearance that the 8th-level Long family stepped into the ranks of the 6th-level Long family. Who are you? Why are you stopping me from killing Longao? Looking coldly at the old man who had appeared in front of him, Longao was also somewhat surprised. This was because being able to disperse the Blooddringer's blade light with one palm was already enough to show how strong this person was. You don't even know who I am, and you actually want to kill my grandson. You are really arrogant. Long Yanchen's body emitted a powerful aura that ruthlessly pressed down on Longao. Kacha. If it were not for his strong will, Longao would have been forced to his knees at this moment. Senior, please be merciful. Long Yi, Mu Lin, Wang, and Yu Yin directly protected Longao behind them. Long Yi respectfully bowed. His son did not know this person, but how could he not know? This was the head of the Long family in Thundercloud City, the legendary Long Yanchen. Long Yi, Mu Lin, now your son wants to kill my grandson. If I let the tiger return to the mountain, won't there be endless trouble in the future? Long Yi and Mu Lin could clearly feel the killing intent emitted by the other party. They sighed in their hearts. It seemed that their son had gotten into big trouble this time. Not only that, but even their family would be in trouble. However, the Long family of Scarlet Fire Town and Thundercloud City belonged to a Long family. On account of our Long family, as long as your son breaks one of his arms, I will spare him. Break one of his arms? Hearing Long Yanchen's words, everyone felt a little regretful and helpless. This was the dignity of the strong. After all, the Long family of Scarlet Fire Town and Thundercloud City could not be compared. Although the young man wanted to break one of his arms, he managed to keep his life. It could be considered a fortune amidst misfortune. Long Yi smiled bitterly. Even if he was unwilling to accept it, he knew that he had to agree. Otherwise, not only would his son have to break one of his arms, he might even lose his life. Just as Long Yi was about to agree, Longao suddenly took a step forward and arrived in front of the 3 of them. He looked at them coldly and said in an indifferent voice, I'm sorry. I won't agree to cut off one of your arms. I'll say it again. I'd rather die standing than live kneeling. A shocking cold light burst out from Long Yanqin's eyes. Instead of getting angry, Long Yanqin smiled and said, with a disciple like you, the Long family of Scarlet Fire Town originally had a chance to rise up. But now, you must die. Long Yanqin had already determined the other party's life and death. No one doubted the words of this legendary figure of the Long family. He held the blood-sucking broadsword tightly with both hands. Even if he died, he would make the other party pay the price. However, at this moment, a figure shot over from not far away. Seeing this person, everyone bowed and shouted in unison, "Lord City Lord, Lord City Lord?" The figure that shot over was Thundercloud City's City Lord, Lu Mu. He was also a legendary figure. Upon seeing Lu Mu, Lu Ji, who had just been slapped in the face, burst into tears and threw herself into Lu Mu's embrace. Lu Mu doted on his daughter a lot, but it wasn't the time to coax her in this situation. Brother Long, why are you being so calculative with this junior? Today, on my account, let's forget about this matter. How about it? City Lord, I would like to know, why are you protecting this child? Long Yinqing was very shocked. He was very clear about the City Lord's character. He believed that the City Lord would not meddle in matters that did not benefit him. Brother Long, Longao is not only from the same Long family as you, but he is also from the Mu clan. It is not appropriate for you to kill him so rashly. Furthermore, there are more cultivators from the 100 Scatter Heaven in our Thundercloud City. It is a good thing for all of us. What do you think? Humph. Long Yanqin looked down on Lu Mu in his heart. It is good for you but bad for me. However, the other party was still the City Lord of Thundercloud City. Unless he had no other choice, he would not be willing to offend Lu Mu. Chapter 32. City Lord, I'll give you face this time. Long Yinqing glanced coldly at the bloody youth, then left with Long Yulong. Thank you, City Lord. Long Yi and Mu Lin immediately thanked him. It was all thanks to the City Lord that their son was able to escape danger. Father, why did you save this trash? Hearing Lu Ji repeatedly call their son a trash, Long Yi and Mu Lin were more or less unhappy. However, due to the other party's status, they couldn't do anything. Don't be rude. You're a girl who only knows how to mess around every day. Go back. Lu Ji was usually spoiled and arrogant. However, when Lu Mu was truly angry, Lu Ji didn't dare to go against him. She snorted and was about to leave when she said fiercely, I will definitely take revenge for this. Anytime. Wang Yuan did not indulge the other party and completely disregarded the other party's identity. Very good. Go back and recuperate. I'll be waiting for you at the City Lord's residence tomorrow. I hope you can arrive early. Of course, Long Ao wouldn't be so arrogant as to not give face to the City Lord. No matter what, if this person didn't appear in time, he didn't even know whether he was alive or dead. Thank you. I'll definitely be there tomorrow. However, there's still one thing I haven't done yet. Lu Mu seemed to be very interested. He glanced at the fatty not far away and nodded. I've heard about the matter between you and the Alchemy Guild. If you don't mind, how about I be the judge for you? The Alchemy Guild is more than willing to have the City Lord as the judge. Please. The fatty had a respectful look. Although the Alchemy Guild was very powerful, he was only the manager of the Alchemy Guild's branch. He couldn't be compared to the City Lord of Thundercloud City. Outsiders couldn't watch the competition at all. Only a few people entered the Alchemy Guild to watch the competition. The competition was very simple. As long as Long Ao could successfully refine the spirit-gathering pill, he would win. Lu Mu sat at the head of the table and looked at the youth with interest. At this moment, Long Ao had already washed himself clean. He stood proudly by the pill furnace. The table beside him was already filled with all kinds of herbs for refining the spirit-gathering pill. Long Ao, are you confident? I'm 100% sure. 100% confidence? Seeing the confidence written all over the young man's face, Willow Wood's eyes revealed a trace of admiration. However, in the eyes of the fatty, this young man was a joke, a huge joke. Long Ao, the bet between you and me, if you win, I will give you a spirit-gathering pill and an additional heaven yuan dan. If you lose, kneel outside the Dan Alliance and kowtow to admit your wrongs. Am I right? That's right. Since that's the case, then let's begin. The fatty coldly snorted and fiercely glared. His face was filled with disdain and ridicule. After all, strength did not represent alchemy. In the martial sky continent, there were countless experts, but how many powerful alchemists were there? Ignoring the fatty's ridicule, Longao could be said to be very familiar with refining the spirit-gathering pill. He placed all the herbs around him into the pill furnace, closed the lid, and began refining. Laughing mockingly, the fatty disdainfully said, "City Lord, although I'm not an alchemist, I've done a lot of research on alchemy. According to what I know, when refining pills, you have to do it step by step. You have to put in the ingredients first, and then put in the ingredients after. These are all very particular. One wrong step, and all the steps will be wrong. Furthermore, I've received news that this young man is not an alchemist." Waving his hand, Lumu said with a smile that was not a smile, "No matter if this young man wins or loses, I hope that the Alchemy Guild will not make things too difficult for him. Consider it as giving me face. How about it?" The fatty was very surprised. He could not understand what was going on with the city lord today. For this trash, he first stopped Long Yinching, and now he wanted the Alchemy Guild to give him face. Could it be that this young man was related to the city lord? Since the city lord has spoken, I'll let this young man go. Within the Alchemy Guild, Mu Yong, Mu Yihao, Mu Yihong, and a cold and arrogant young man from Mu Peak were all watching Long Ao refine pills. Mu Yihao and Mu Yihong's expressions were extremely ugly and cold. Mu Yihong said softly, "Second brother, it's this young man. I hope you can help us." This young man fought with Long Yulong in the Hotian realm. Not only did he not lose, he even broke through to the Xiantian realm in the middle of the battle. Just this point alone shows that this young man's talent and potential is not something you can compare to. Hearing their second brother's words, the four of them were a little surprised. This was because they knew their second brother's character very well. Under normal circumstances, with their second brother's arrogant character, he would not put anyone in his eyes. For the Mu clan, this young man must be eliminated. You guys go back first. I have something important to do. Thank you, second brother. The four of them were instantly overjoyed. They knew what their second brother was going to do later. The four of them were completely confident in their second brother's strength. Even Long Yulong was not enough when compared to their second brother. At that instant, Long Ao was completely focused on concocting the spirit-gathering pill because he discovered one thing. Every time he concocted a pill, it was actually a cultivation. Moreover, it was very helpful in comprehending the martial path. While refining the essence-gathering pill, his soul had already connected with the dragon seal and entered the dragon seal space. If others knew that he was actually doing two things at the same time, as refining the essence-gathering pill, they would definitely be frightened. Within the dragon seal space, Long Fu, didn't you say that it was extremely difficult to break through because of my desolate physique? Why was it so smooth for me to break through from the Hotian realm to the Xiantian realm this time? Master, it's all because of you that you were able to break through so smoothly. Although your physique requires a large amount of energy to replenish, the pressure and comprehension in the moment of life and death allowed you to break through your limits. At the same time, it was also because of your persistence and perseverance. Master, your perseverance are the best amongst your peers. So that's how it was. It seemed that the pressure in the moment of life and death could indeed allow his cultivation to break through quickly. Since that was the case, he had to train more in the future. At the bottom of the pill furnace, there was a raging fire. The entire pill furnace was engulfed in flames. Crackling sounds came from within the pill furnace. Long Ao's face was indifferent. He seemed to be refining the essence-gathering pill very easily. However, in the eyes of others, how was this refining a essence-gathering pill? It was clearly playing. Done. Done? Before anyone could react, the lid of the pill furnace instantly exploded, and two black dots of light shot out from the pill furnace, which were directly caught by Long Ao in the palm of his hand. It was the spirit-gathering pill that was refined this time, and it was even two spirit-gathering pills. Chapter 33. Looking at the two essence-gathering pills in the young man's hand, the fatty refused to believe it and asked someone to verify the authenticity of the pills. I wonder if these two essence-gathering pills are real or fake. What about the quality? Lu Mu was also surprised. His face was full of praise, but he still asked the fatty. No matter how much he didn't want to admit it, the truth was right in front of him. The fatty smiled bitterly and said, "They are indeed essence-gathering pills, and they are of high quality." Real essence-gathering pills? And of high quality? Hearing the fatty's words, everyone was shocked. They had no idea what was going on. How could Longao be able to refine the soul-gathering pills in a short span of a month? And the quality of the pills was so high? Ever since the bet between Longao and the Alchemy Guild, many people had been asking about Longao's movements. Without exception, the news they received was almost the same. That was, Longao was not an alchemist at all. A month ago, he just bought a few alchemy books and started researching. Because of this, everyone was even more shocked. After all, alchemists were different from martial artists. To become an alchemist, 95% of the time, talent was needed. Could it be that Longao was an alchemy genius? Longao, this is a essence-gathering pill and a primary heaven pill. I have to admit that you are indeed an alchemy genius. If you are willing, I will immediately report to the headquarters and invite you to join the Alchemy Guild. What do you think? The fatty's shamelessness had reached a new level. Seeing that Ling Xian had successfully made essence-gathering pills in just 1 month, the fatty's attitude changed 180 degrees, and he invited Ling Xian to join the Alchemy Guild. Everyone looked at Longao. They didn't know if the trash of the Long clan, but in reality, a genius, would accept the fatty's invitation. Longao glanced sideways and put away the 2 spirit-gathering pills that he had just refined, as well as the spirit-gathering pill and the heaven origin pill that he had won. He indifferently said, "How could a big temple like yours possibly accommodate a trash like me? Goodbye." Without any hesitation, Longao turned and left the Alchemy Guild. The fatty was left behind with a bitter smile. He stood there awkwardly, not knowing what to say. After a while, everyone left one by one. Alchemy genius? I hope you don't become an alchemy genius. After returning to the Long clan, Longao did not appear in the crowd. Instead, he immediately went to his room to rest. Although this battle was a narrow escape, it was not without gains. He had successfully broken through to the Xiantian realm. As long as he stabilized his cultivation a little, he would be able to stabilize his Xiantian realm. With regards to this sudden breakthrough, Longao had never expected it. Feeling the spiritual energy of heaven and earth filling his limbs and bones, he had an indescribable feeling of strength and carefreeness. Without thinking too much, Longao sat quietly on the ground and circulated the mysterious 9 heavenly transformations of the 9-cycle technique. The breakthrough this time allowed him to complete the 4th transformation of the mysterious 9 heavenly transformations and absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. Longao left the Long clan early and headed for the City Lord's residence. Although he did not know why the City Lord, Lu Mu, helped him, no matter how unhappy he was with Lu Ji, Lu Mu did help him. There were 4 giants in Thundercloud City: the City Lord's residence, the Duanmu clan, the Mu clan, and the Long clan. The City Lord's residence was the leader of the 4 giants. The other 3 clans did not dare to offend the City Lord's residence because the City Lord's residence had the backing of the Heavenly Star Kingdom. In the pavilion in the backyard of the City Lord's residence, the pavilion was elegant and quiet, surrounded by a lotus pond. A faint fragrance drifted into the nose. Taking a light sniff, one would feel much more comfortable. How do you feel? This is a good place to cultivate. Lu Mu was very gentle and refined. He gently fanned himself with a folding fan in his hand. There was a faint smile on his face as he gently took a sip of tea. Only then did he say, "The trash that everyone ridiculed actually persisted for a full 10 years. Just this persistence alone is worthy of respect." Longao only smiled and did not say anything. 10 years of persistence, 10 years of hard work. In the end, it paid off. I always thought that your martial talent was pretty good. However, I did not expect your alchemy talent to be even better. You were able to refine the spirit-gathering pill in a short month. Your alchemy talent is the strongest I have ever seen. Longao still smiled and did not say anything. He did not know what Lumu wanted. Longao, after your battle with Long Yulong, you successfully broke through to the Xiantian realm. Do you feel powerless against an expert like Long Yinqing? Longao nodded and did not hide anything. He said, "That's right. What is the reason for this? Since you are already in Xiantian martial artist, there is no need for me to hide it from you. Actually, there are strong and weak Xiantian martial artists. You just broke through to the Xiantian realm and are in the 100 scattering heaven. Back then, all the spiritual energy in your body gathered in your dantian and formed a point that filled your acupoints. This is the one-line heaven. Long Yinqing and I belong to this realm. 100 scattering heaven? One-line heaven? Long Ao had already guessed that there were strong and weak Xiantian martial artists. Otherwise, with his strength, why would he feel helpless against Long Yinqing? It turned out that Long Yinqing and Lu Mu had both reached the one-line heaven. City Lord, I want to ask, how can one break through to the one-line heaven in the 100 scattering heaven? When your cultivation breaks through to the Xiantian realm, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth enters your body and forms spiritual energy. It spreads throughout your limbs and bones. At this time, it is known as the 100 scattering heaven. When you force all the spiritual energy into your dantian and gather it in one point, then fill the 108 acupoints in your body. The more acupoints you fill, the stronger you are. Long Ao, this seems simple, but it is actually very difficult. 3 years? Long Ao knew that Lu Mu was able to break through to the one-line heaven from the 100 scattering heaven in 3 years. His talent was also quite good. He was very curious about how many acupoints Long Yinqing and Lu Mu had filled. Although he was curious, Long Ao did not ask. After all, this was a personal secret. As long as the other party did not take the initiative to say it, there was no need for him to ask. Long Ao, your bet with the Dan Alliance this time helped you win a heavenly Yuan Dan. This kind of pill is very useful for the 100 scattering heaven martial artists. As long as you take it, it can at least shorten the time to gather spiritual energy. However, I have to remind you that this fatty is very sinister. This time, you made him lose the bet in public and refused to join the Dan Alliance. I believe that fatty will not give up just like that. Thank you for your reminder, City Lord. As long as he dares to come, I will dare to kill him. The blood-red blade light and the ice-cold sword chi collided with each other, and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. However, the 100 scattering sky was still the 100 scattering sky, and it was unable to compete with the one-line sky. It was devoured by the aura, and it was forced to take 3 steps back before it could stabilize itself. But even so, Long Ao's strength had already far exceeded the black-clothed man's understanding. If he had not experienced it himself, he would not have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Both your talent and potential are top-notch. If you don't die, your future will be bright. But you no longer have that chance. The black-clothed man's killing intent surged. He held a sharp black sword and used the Xiantian martial skill, Ghost Shadow Sword Art. The shadow of the sword was unfathomable. He did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. The opponent was always a one-line sky expert. If he relaxed even a little bit, he would be killed by the opponent's sword chi. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao also waved the snow-drinking wild saber in his hand. One blade after another, Yellow Spring's 9 strikes. 9 blood-red saber lights instantly superimposed, converging into one saber. The blood-red saber light was like a bolt from the blue, but the black-clothed man's speed was too fast. Especially with the Ghost Shadow Sword Art, the sword shadow instantly enveloped the blood-red saber light. He sidestepped and arrived in front of Long Ao. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he said indifferently, "You don't deserve this saber. Give it to me." The black-clothed man was not a fool. Of course, he knew that the saber in the opponent's hand was a treasure. Under his greed, he grasped the blade with one hand. The black-clothed man was too arrogant. In his opinion, with the opponent's strength, even if he had a treasure, he would not be able to do anything to him. Just like this, the black-clothed man's complexion suddenly changed. He almost shouted in shock. "Boy, stop for me, or I will tear you apart." Longao seemed a little surprised. He instantly understood what had happened. The blood-drinking wild saber itself was a sharp weapon that absorbed blood essence. When he first saw the blood-drinking wild saber in the thundercloud forest, the blood-drinking wild saber was absorbing the blood essence of dozens of spirit beasts at the same time. He was overjoyed. It seemed that his luck was not bad. He thought that he was going to die this time, but he did not expect the opponent's luck to be so bad. He just had to grab the blood-drinking wild saber. The more spiritual power poured into the blood-drinking wild saber, the faster it absorbed the black-clothed man's blood essence. It even reached the point of crazy absorption. Without giving the black-clothed man any chance to resist, in just a few minutes, all the blood essence in the black-clothed man's body was absorbed by the blood-drinking wild saber. Of course, Longao would not give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to use the soul-searching technique. No matter what, the black-clothed man was a one-line sky cultivator. Once he refined him into a soul slave, it would be of great help to him in the future. At the very least, if he met another one-line sky cultivator again, he would not be so passive. After handing the black-clothed man's soul to Longfu, Longao instantly knew the identity of the black-clothed man. Ghostly, a powerful cultivator, could be considered an assassin of the Dan Alliance. This time, he was invited by the fatty to assassinate him. However, he failed to achieve his goal and was instead sucked dry by his own blood-drinking wild saber, dying an unnatural death. After searching the black-clothed man's body, Longao did not find any treasures from the black-clothed man. He only found a few gold cards. He sensed the number of gold coins in the gold cards with his soul. Although he was prepared, he was still shocked. 300 million gold coins? Of course, Longao knew what 300 million gold coins represented. It had to be known that his family had spent a great deal of effort to gather 5 million gold coins with great difficulty. 300 million gold coins. Not to mention his family, even the 3 great families of Thundercloud City would not be able to gather 300 million gold coins in a short period of time. Putting the gold cards into his bosom, Longao's soul communicated with the dragon mark and entered the dragon mark space. Longfu, how long will it take to refine a soul slave? Master, the soul you just gave me is a little too weak. It will take about a day to refine it into a soul slave. Too weak? Hearing Longfu's words, Longao was a little surprised. After all, the black-clothed man was a one-line sky cultivator. In Longfu's eyes, such strength was too weak? His laughter was filled with disdain and contempt, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Yi Gu Cheng, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept? Ha ha ha, why wouldn't I dare? Let's see how a piece of trash like you can defeat me today. Longao, don't think that you're invincible just because you defeated Brother Long. I'll let you know the difference between us. 2 bronze hammers appeared in his hands. Yi Gu Cheng sneered and said, Let's fight. If you can defeat me, the 96th place on the 100 battle ranking will belong to you. But if you lose, I'll break your arms and legs. The 100 battle ranking list. There were 9 prefectures in the Tianwu continent. Each prefecture had a 100 battle ranking list. Warriors under the age of 40 could enter the 100 battle ranking list. The fastest and easiest way for other warriors to enter the 100 battle ranking list was to challenge the people on the 100 battle ranking list. Those who succeeded would immediately enter the 100 battle ranking list. The 100 battle ranking list was a list issued by the Heaven and Earth sect. Anyone who succeeded in entering the list would immediately be added to the 100 battle ranking list by the Heaven and Earth sect. That was to say, as long as Longao could kill Yi Gu Cheng, he would automatically be promoted to the 96th place on the 100 battle ranking list. One day later, the name of the hundreds of people on the 100 battle ranking list would be changed. Yi Gu Cheng's name would be changed to Longao's. Every young warrior dreamed of entering the 100 battle ranking list. But usually, unless the challenger succeeded in the challenge, there was only one end for the challengers, that was, to be killed mercilessly. Because of this, Without full confidence and super strength, no one would challenge the hundreds of people on the 100 battle ranking list. There were 9 people on the 100 battle ranking list in the 9 prefectures. When the 9 people on the 100 battle ranking list were united, they represented the strongest warriors among the young generation in the Tianwu continent. Yi Gucheng, I will replace you and enter the 96th place on the 100 battle ranking list. Good, very good, very good. Yi Gucheng was at the peak of the 100 scatter heaven. He was only one step away from breaking through the one-line heaven. Yi Gucheng had full confidence that he could defeat or even kill his opponent. In his eyes, even if Longao could break through the 100 scatter heaven realm and defeat Longyulong, trash was trash after all. Yi Gucheng had the right to be proud of being ranked the 96th place on the 100 battle ranking list. Neither of them continued to talk. They looked at each other coldly. The fighting intent on their bodies collided with each other. Yi Gucheng was not bragging to be ranked the 96th place on the 100 battle ranking list. Longao was also a little surprised because he could feel Yi Gucheng's comprehension of martial arts from his opponent's fighting intent. The inner courtyard of the Long family was already crowded with people. Long-yi, Mu-lin, and all the others had already heard the news and came here. As for Yu-yin, she was called back by the Wang family for some unknown reason. Everyone in the Long family had full confidence in Longao. After all, Longao was the only warrior of the primordial realm in the Long family. It was also because of the appearance of Longao that the Long family, which was originally at level 9, was promoted to level 8. In other words, the Long family in the Red Fire Town was no longer a level 9 family, but a level 8 family at this moment. All this was because of the sudden rise of Longao. All of a sudden, Longao and Yi Gucheng's bodies moved. Yi Gucheng, who was ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking list, held a bronze hammer in his hand and smashed out fiercely. With the help of the primordial martial skill, the power of the bronze hammer was unstoppable. Yi Gucheng dodged and smashed the bronze hammer in his hand on the ground. The power of the bronze hammer was so powerful that 2 deep pits were formed on the ground, and the ground seemed to be trembling. Seeing Yi Gucheng's strength, everyone in the Long family was shocked. The gap between the primordial realm warriors was like this. Longyulong and Yi Gucheng were simply not on the same level. If you can resist my 18 styles of sky splitting, I'll kill myself here. Yi Gucheng had full confidence in his 18 styles of sky splitting. The 18 styles of sky splitting was the highest level of primordial martial skill. No one could resist his 18 styles of sky splitting unless he met a warrior from one-line sky. With a cold snort, Longao did not bother to pay attention to Yi Gucheng. The blood-drinking broadsword in his hand had already launched the 9 consecutive strikes of Underworld. Chapter 36. Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes versus Heaven, splitting 18 stances. Yi Gucheng was ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking. He was very powerful. Every stance of the Heaven splitting 18 stances was stronger than the previous. It was like an endless wave. Yi Gucheng did not dare to be careless. He held Bloodsucker Frenzy Blade and used Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. The mysterious Heavenly Finger also followed. The powerful finger force seemed to be able to penetrate everything. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the two had fought for more than 10 rounds. It was not until now that Yi Gucheng really took this trash seriously. No wonder this person could break through 100 scatter heaven and defeat Longyulong in just a few months. It seemed that he had some foundation. Even so, Yi Gucheng still did not put Longao in his eyes. With great confidence, he continued to use Heaven splitting 18 stances. His strength increased layer by layer. Yi Gucheng held 2 hammers in his hands, and each hammer was stronger than the previous. Yi Gucheng's speed was also very fast. However, Longao's Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes was also not to be underestimated. Heaven splitting 18 stances, the last stance, Heaven splitting Earth, mysterious Heavenly 5 changes. According to Longao's current strength, he could not use the mysterious Heavenly 5 changes. However, Longao knew very well that once his opponent used the last stance of Heaven splitting 18 stances, it would be difficult for him to resist. Even if he used Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, Forcefully using the mysterious Sky 5 transformations would definitely backfire in the future. But in that situation, Longao couldn't care about anything else. Under the mysterious Sky 5 transformations, he used the mysterious Sky 5 fingers. A terrifying finger power instantly pierced through the space, and the blood-drinking wild blade also fiercely slashed out. Mysterious heavenly 5 fingers combined with yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes. Whether it was Longao or Yigu Cheng, they both used their strongest attacks. Victory or defeat depended on this move. Both of them knew very well that they could not lose this battle. The blood-colored blade and heaven-splitting earth collided. Longao seized this rare opportunity and shot out mysterious heavenly 5 fingers at an inconspicuous angle. It hit Yigu Cheng's chest accurately. With a groan, Yigu Cheng's face instantly turned pale and a bloody hole appeared in his chest. If it wasn't for his powerful spirit force supporting him, Yigu Cheng would have already fallen. Longao won? Longao defeated Yigu Cheng? Everyone looked at Longao, who had already won. Their faces were filled with surprise. Although they did not know that Yigu Cheng was a genius on the 100 battle ranking, in their eyes, Yigu Cheng was a powerful warrior of the primordial realm. Yigu Cheng, you've lost. You can't even beat a piece of trash. Looks like you're even worse than trash. At this moment, Yigu Cheng's face was extremely ugly. He had never thought that he would be defeated by a trash. This loss of manners was not only a matter of face, but more importantly, since his opponent had defeated him, he would replace him on the 100 battle ranking and be officially ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking. Longao, I won't let this go. One day, I'll definitely defeat you. Brother Yi, why do you have to do this? You and I can join hands to kill him and destroy the whole Long family. No one will know about this. You're still a genius ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking. At this time, Long Yulong walked in from outside and said in an extremely cold voice. Long Yulong had been brooding since he lost to Longao. However, Longao had the backing of the City Lord Mansion. Even if he wanted to take revenge, it would not be easy. But the situation was different now. If the matter was exposed, he could completely blame it on Yigu Cheng. At that time, he believed that even if the City Lord Mansion knew about it, they could only accept the fact. Brother Long, isn't this inappropriate? As a top genius and ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking, Yigu Cheng had his own pride. A loss was a loss. If he were to join forces with Long Yulong, where would he put his face once the news spread? Brother Yi, cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. But no one will know about this. The 100 battle ranking. Long Yulong knew that Yigu Cheng valued the 100 battle ranking the most. After all, losing the ranking on the 100 battle ranking was a great blow to him. As expected, when Yigu Cheng heard the 3 words 100 battle ranking, his face finally changed. Resisting the bursts of pain from his chest, he finally nodded and said, Slaughter everyone and destroy the Long family. Slaughter everyone and destroy the Long family. Hearing Long Yulong's words, the faces of all the members of the Long family suddenly changed. No one doubted Long Yulong's words. After all, Long Yulong and Yigu Cheng were both warriors of the primordial realm. Once they joined hands, it would be a piece of cake for them to slaughter the whole Long family. 2 shameless things. As primordial warriors, you are really shameless. Ha ha ha, Longao. I have to admit that your talent and potential are really good. But you were born at the wrong time. If you were born in a big family, maybe you could be a hidden dragon. But now, Long Yulong's eyes were full of contempt. If he was alone, he might not be a match for Yigu Cheng. But if he joined hands with Yigu Cheng, he was full of confidence that they could kill Longao and slaughter the whole Long family. Yigu Cheng temporarily stopped the bleeding and stood side by side with Long Yulong. The two emitted a cold, murderous aura and walked toward Longao step by step. The 2 warriors of 100 disperse heaven also released their primordial aura and approached him step by step. Looking coldly at the 2 who were walking toward him step by step, Longao's face became colder and colder. He had just forcefully used the 5 mysterious heaven changes. If he continued to use it, he would definitely be backfired and the consequences would be unimaginable. Was he going to watch his family being slaughtered by these two with his own eyes? Master, your soul has been refined into a soul slave. You can summon it at any time. Just when Longao was about to fight with his life, Long Fu's voice sounded in his mind. He was immediately happy because according to Long Fu, Ghostly was a warrior of one-line heaven. Refining his soul into a soul slave would not only not reduce his strength, but instead increase it. In other words, the soul slave's strength would be much stronger than the original body. One-line heaven soul slave, didn't it say that it would take a day to refine? But in this situation, he couldn't care about anything else. You're courting death. You can't blame others. Longao, you're still so stubborn even in the face of death. Today, I want to see how a trash like you will resist. Brother Long, do it. Long Yulong and Yi Gu Chung nodded. Of course, they knew that this matter couldn't be delayed for too long. Once others knew about it, they would be in trouble. But at this time, Long Ao's body suddenly erupted with a shocking aura, covering the sky and earth, instantly enveloping the two. One-line heaven, feeling the powerful aura emitted from Long Ao's body, whether it was Long Yulong or Yi Gu Chung, the two's complexion changed greatly. With an expression of disbelief, they shouted in shock. The soul slave's cultivation was at one-line heaven realm. The aura it emitted was also one-line heaven's aura. As warriors of 100 disperse heaven, how could the two not be afraid of one-line heaven experts? Chapter 37. Long Ao was a one-line sky martial artist? Long Yulong and Yi Gu Chung would definitely not believe this. If that was the case, why would he burst out with the shocking aura of a one-line sky martial artist? Die. Just now, the two of them actually wanted to slaughter his own family. How could Long Ao leave behind any future troubles? The powerful soul slave released an astonishing aura. Like a ghost, it floated towards the two of them. Before the two could figure out what was going on, they were hit by the soul servant's palm. Their bodies flew out like a kite with a broken string. Turning around in midair, Long Yulong and Yi Gu Chung were already scared out of their wits. They quickly turned around and left, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. Ran away? Long Ao did not seem to expect that the two would turn around and run away. They did not look like martial artists at all. He despised them in his heart and rushed out after them. Am I seeing things? Someone is actually chasing after Long Yulong. Someone is chasing Long Yulong? It was impossible for Long Ao to let the two go. Even in the market, he chased after the two without any scruples. The people who got the news immediately rushed over, only to see Long Ao chasing Long Yulong and Yi Gu Chung. Many people knew Yi Gu Chung. He was a super genius ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking. Because of this, everyone was extremely shocked. They did not know how a Long Ao could chase after Long Yulong and Yi Gu Chung. Long Ao, if you dare to kill me, your Long family will pay the price for you. I swear to kill you no matter where you are. Hearing Long Ao's determination, Long Yulong was completely dumbfounded. A few months ago, he was still looking down on Long Ao. But in just a few months, not only could Long Ao defeat him, he could even chase after him in front of everyone. Such a contrast was really hard for him to accept. Ignoring the shock of everyone around, Long Ao raised the blood-sucking broadsword in his hand and slashed at the two. The full blow was unstoppable. The shocking broadsword light followed the momentum and shot towards the two across the sky. The two of them, who were rushing forward with all their might, could clearly feel the startling saber light coming from behind them. The two of them were startled. They knew that in such a situation, they were in a passive position. Brother Yi, I'm sorry. In order to protect himself, Long Yulong suddenly turned around and kicked Yi Gu Chung. Caught off guard, Yi Gu Cheng's body was kicked back violently and came into close contact with the shocking saber light. Without the slightest suspense, Yi Gu Chung was directly chopped into two at the waist by the shocking saber light. Yi Gu Chung was dead? Seeing Yi Gu Chung cut in half at the waist, everyone was completely stunned. Everyone knew Yi Gu Cheng's identity clearly. He was a super genius ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking list and a warrior at the peak of the 100 scattering heaven. Even so, Yi Guqing was still killed by Longao with one strike. What did this mean? Everyone knew very well that after Longao killed Yi Guqing, he would appear on the 100 battle ranking list and take over Yi Guqing's position. That was to say, from now on, the 96th on the 100 battle ranking list was no longer Yi Guqing, but the newly risen Longao. After killing Yi Guqing, Longao did not intend to stop there. Just as he was about to kill Long Yulong, Long Yinqing and Lu Mu suddenly appeared and protected Long Yulong behind them. Looking at his grandfather, who was close at hand, Long Yulong was completely relieved. Fortunately, he was not in danger. As long as he thought of Yi Guqing, who had just been cut in half at the waist by the saber light, he felt a lingering fear. Looking at Longao, who was chasing after his grandson, Long Yinqing's face was extremely cold. In Thundercloud City, no one dared to treat the Long family like this. This was not only a provocation, but also a disregard for the Long family. Longao, how dare you chase after my grandson? You really don't know what's good for you. Brother Long, this is just a joke between the younger generation. You don't have to be so serious. For my sake, let's forget about this. Seeing that the city lord once again stood up for Longao, Long Yinqing was extremely unhappy. However, the other party was the city lord after all. Unless it was a last resort, he was still unwilling to provoke the city lord mansion. City lord, you saw the whole thing clearly. It was Longao who had been chasing after my grandson. Do you think I'll let him go just like this? If that's really the case, where will I, Long Yinqing, put my face? Where would the Long family's face be? With a deep sigh in his heart, Lu Mu helplessly glanced at the young man opposite him. Of all people to provoke, he had to provoke the Long family. Moreover, he was Long Yinqing's grandson. This was really troublesome. Brother Long, how about giving me some face again? Since the city lord was here today, Long Yinqing knew that it was almost impossible for him to kill the other party. Since that was the case, why not give the other party some face? It wouldn't be too late to deal with this brat in the future. All right, I'll give the city lord some face today. However, he can avoid death, but he can't escape punishment. As long as he breaks one of his arms, I'll let today's matter go. With regards to Long Yinqing's arrogance, the surrounding people all had a natural expression. No matter what, he was the Long family's patriarch and a powerful Xiantian realm cultivator. If it wasn't for the city lord, it wouldn't be as simple as just breaking one of his arms. Many people's eyes were filled with sympathy and pity. Such a genius with such a strong character had to break one of his arms. It would definitely affect his future in many ways. However, as long as he could keep his life, breaking one of his arms was nothing. They also heaved a sigh of relief. Breaking one of his arms was better than losing his life. Lu Mu looked at the young man before him and said helplessly, Longao, do it yourself? Break one of his arms? With a cold laugh, Longao said coldly, Long Yinqing, has your head been kicked by a donkey? Or is there something wrong with your head? Break one of your arms. No matter who it is today, no one can stop me from killing Long Yulong. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way. No matter who it is today, no one can stop me from killing Long Yulong. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way. Longao's words completely shocked everyone, including Lu Mu. He didn't know what was wrong with Longao at this moment. Did he really think that he could go against Long Yinqing with his strength? Ha ha ha, what an arrogant bastard. City Lord, you heard it. It's not that I don't want to give you face, but he's courting death. He can't blame anyone else. Lu Mu didn't continue speaking. After all, Longao had already said so much. If he continued to speak, wouldn't it be obvious that he was going against the Long family? Long Yinqing, just now your grandson said that he wanted to slaughter my Long family, so he must die. If you leave obediently, this matter might not implicate you. Otherwise, I, Longao, will definitely kill you. Longao held the blood-sucking broadsword in his hand and stood proudly between heaven and earth, like a god of war descending. Chapter 38. At this moment, no one dared to look down on the young man as he stood proudly with a broadsword in his hand. Who in Thundercloud City would dare to speak to Long Yinqing like this? Regardless of whether he could kill Long Yinqing or not, Just his determination and courage was worthy of everyone's respect. You want to kill me? As if he had heard the funniest joke in the world, Long Yinching put on a fake smile and a cold, murderous aura slowly appeared on his face. Longao. Waving his hand, Longao stopped Lu Mu and said, City Lord, I know you have good intentions, but today, I must kill Long Yulong. No matter who it is, no one can stop me. Lu Mu took a deep look at the young man in front of him. Of course, he knew the young man's personality. He sighed helplessly and walked to the other side. However, he didn't leave. He wanted to see what gave the young man such confidence and courage. Longao, don't think that you can show off in front of me just because you killed Yi Guqing. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Long Yinching clearly had the intention to kill. Not only did the other party chase after his grandson in broad daylight, he even threatened to kill him in front of everyone. If he did not do something, how could the Long family establish itself in Thundercloud City in the future? Provoking my Long family, I will let you know the consequences. So, not only will you die, even the family behind you will be slaughtered. Long Ao did not like to hear the words slaughtering your family. His eyes instantly turned cold and murderous aura surged from his body. He coldly said, Since that is the case, you can go to hell. Long Ao did not have the slightest bit of carelessness. No matter what, the opponent was still a frontline heaven expert. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao directly summoned his soul slave. A terrifying frontline heaven aura rose and enveloped all directions. One-line sky. Seeing an illusory figure shooting towards them and emitting a powerful one-line sky aura, Long Yinching and Lu Mu were both shocked. They did not dare to be careless. Long Yinching's hands formed palms and fiercely chopped towards the soul slave. If it was Gue Li, he would definitely not be Long Yinching's opponent. But now, Gue Li's soul had been refined into a soul slave and his strength had increased a lot. Thus, it would be very difficult for Long Yinching to kill the soul slave in a short time. In the blink of an eye, the soul slave and Long Yinching were already fighting. At this moment, Long Ao wielded his bloodthirst and fiercely chopped at Long Yulong. Grandfather, save me. After witnessing Yi Guqing being killed by the other party with a single slash, Long Yulong did not have the slightest bit of courage to resist. He had thought that with his grandfather's appearance, he would be able to keep his life. Alas, the other party had overestimated himself and dared to kill him right in front of his grandfather. Long Ao, if you dare to kill you, Long Yinching, to kill your whole family. Long Yinching was tightly entangled by the soul servants and could not free himself. In his desperation, he could only roar angrily. The surrounding people who were watching the show were all shocked. No one was willing to believe that the legendary Long Yinching would be forced to this extent. The expression on Lu Mu's face changed completely. He could feel the power of this illusory figure. Soul? No. Physical body? That's even more impossible. If that's the case, then what is this illusory figure? Kill my whole family? It would have been better if Long Yinching did not say it. Just as he finished speaking, Long Ao's speed increased. The bloodthirst in his hand slashed out with a backhand slash. The yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes. 9 saber rays overlapped and a shocking blood-red saber ray shot out. Kacha. The saber ray fell and Long Yulong's body was also cut into 2. Until the moment of his death, Long Yulong's eyes were still wide open. Long Ao, I'm going to kill you. Seeing his son being killed with his own eyes, Long Yinching went completely crazy. However, the soul slave was too strong. It was impossible to force the soul slave away in a short time. But at this moment, Long Ao had already joined the battle. The bloodthirst in his hand slashed out crazily. One slash after another, the blood-red saber rays overlapped. Looking at Long Yulong, who was cut into 2 on the ground, everyone was dumbfounded. Long Ao was really arrogant to kill Long Yulong in front of Long Yinching. At this moment, no one dared to underestimate Long Ao. A person who dared to kill Long Yulong in front of Long Yinching was enough to shock them. Everyone looked at the young man who joined the battle. Everyone's face was filled with anticipation. Could this young man really kill Long Yinching? Longao and the soul slave worked together and forced Long Yinching back. Not sure if it was because of anger, Long Yinching could not unleash his full strength. The more he fought, the more chaotic he became. There were a few moves where he was almost killed by the blood-red saber rays. The more he fought, the more shocked he was. Until now, Long Yinching still did not know what this illusory figure was. Bang! Long Ao was sent flying by Long Yinching's powerful aura. However, Long Ao was like a cockroach that could not be killed. He rushed forward again. Here it comes again. Seeing the young man continuously attacking Long Yinching, everyone seemed to be used to it. Last time, when Long Ao fought with Long Yulong, even when he was covered in blood, the other party was not willing to admit defeat. With a strange expression on his face, Lu Mu came out with the wind and arrived in front of the two. They exchanged palms and said in a deep voice, "Brother Long, Long Ao, please stop." No matter if it was Long Yinching or Long Ao, even if they were unwilling to stop, the other party's identity and strength were there. The two of them stopped abruptly. Long Ao also called the soul slave back into the dragon seal space. Looking at his grandson who was cut into two on the ground, Long Yinching was like a volcano that was about to erupt. His face was gloomy and his body was filled with killing intent. He said, "Long Ao, the enmity of killing my grandson is irreconcilable. One day, I will kill you and even your entire family." After speaking, Long Yinching picked up the two halves of Long Yulong's body and turned around to leave. "Long Ao, you're a little reckless this time. You'll be in big trouble if you provoke the Long family." Not to mention Lu Mu. Even the surrounding people were a little shocked. Until now, they were still unable to react. However, everyone could think of one thing. That was, Long Yinching and the Long family behind him would definitely not let this matter go. Provoking Long Yinching was like provoking the Grim Reaper. Just thinking about it, one could imagine what the outcome would be. However, Long Ao did not care about all of this. Since he dared to kill Long Yulong, he was not afraid of Long Yinching and the rank 6 Long family. With the soul slave as his backing, if Long Yinching dared to come, he would dare to kill him. "City Lord, I have some urgent matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave first." Previously, when he forcefully used the 5 mysterious heavenly transformation, he suffered a backlash from the spiritual energy in his body. If he delayed for too long, the consequences would be unimaginable. It might even affect his future cultivation speed. Because of this, Long Ao bid farewell to Lu Mu and quickly left. Chapter 39. After returning to the family, Long Ao did not talk to anyone and went straight to his room to cultivate. After an entire night, Long Ao finally managed to suppress this backlash with great difficulty. The news that Long Ao fought with Long Yinching and killed Long Yulong had already spread throughout Thundercloud City. Those who heard the news were all shocked and did not want to believe it. Everyone knew what Long Yinching and the Long family represented. As one of the 4 magnates in Thundercloud City, no one dared to provoke the Long family in Thundercloud City. But what about Long Ao? It was as if he had disregarded the Long family and killed their grandson right under Long Yinching's nose. Long Ao's consequences could be foreseen. It was precisely because of this that everyone wanted to see how Long Yinching and the Long family were going to take revenge. The next morning, as soon as Long Ao left his room, he was called to the hall by his parents. Not only Long Yi and Mu Lin were there, but almost all the other members of the Long family were there. "Ao, are you okay?" At this moment, everyone in the Long family was excited and surprised. After all, they already knew that Long Ao killed Yi Guqing and Long Yulong and fought against Long Yinching. In this way, didn't it mean that the Long family could slowly rise with the help of Long Ao? Seventh brother, you are really amazing. Take a look at the 100 battle ranking list. Long Qianqian's face was full of pride. She handed a delicate booklet to Long Ao and said with a smile, "Seventh brother, I spent 1,000 gold coins on this 100 battle ranking list." 1,000 gold coins to buy a booklet? With a helpless smile, Long Ao opened the booklet. On the first page, there were 3 words, 100 battle ranking list. From the second page, there were 10 names on each page. There were a total of 100 names on 10 pages, which were the 100 people on the 100 battle ranking list. Turning to the 10th page of the 100 battle ranking list, Longao could no longer see Yi Guqing's name. Instead, he saw his own name, Longao's name, and there seemed to be a line of small words under his name. The young man from the Long family of the Red Fire town persisted for 10 years and never gave up. In the end, he turned the tables and killed Yi Guqing. He is ranked 96th on the 100 battle ranking list. Looking at the 100 battle ranking list's introduction of him, Longao was somewhat speechless, especially the phrase, trash counterattack. The 100 battle ranking is the most important ranking in the Tianwu continent. There are 900 battle rankings in the 9 prefectures. Those who enter the 100 battle ranking are all amazing people. Longao certainly knew the 100 battle ranking list very well. In the 9 prefectures of the Tianwu continent, any warrior under the age of 40 could compete for the 100 battle ranking. There were countless geniuses in each prefecture, but only 100 people could make it to the 100 battle ranking. It could be imagined how valuable the 100 battle ranking was. However, Longao was not surprised at all, because he knew that the super figures on the 100 battle ranking list were not simple people. Yi Guqing was only ranked 96th, but his cultivation had reached the peak of the 100 scatter heaven. How powerful was the top 95th on the 100 battle ranking list? At this moment, a servant came in quickly. He knelt on the ground and said eagerly, "Master, there is an urgent report from the family from 100 miles away." An urgent report from 100 miles away? Longyi was very surprised. He took the letter from the servant's hand and opened it. His face instantly turned cold and he said angrily, "What a shameless young family. Big brother, what's wrong?" "Humph, I don't know what means the Yang family used to invite Taoist Black Wind of the Black Wind Mountain. According to father's letter, Taoist Black Wind will arrive in Thundercloud City in 10 days. At that time, the Long family will be exterminated." Taoist Black Wind of the Black Wind Mountain? Everyone knew who Taoist Black Wind of the Black Wind Mountain was. It was said that Taoist Black Wind had a little relationship with the Yang family, but the Red Fire town had always been balanced. This time, the Yang family invited Taoist Black Wind, obviously to destroy the Long family. "Big brother, although our family has been promoted to an 8th grade family, our foundation has not improved at all. If the Yang family and Taoist Black Wind come, we can only be beaten." Long Jin and the others knew very well that the family could be promoted this time, not because of the improvement of the family's strength, but because of Long Ao's sudden rise. In other words, without Long Ao, the family would still be the same as before. At this moment, they did not dare to ask Long Ao to do anything. After all, Long Ao was not the same as before. Not only did he become a primordial warrior, but he also fought against Long Yinqing and killed Yi Guqing and Long Yulong. As uncles, they seemed to be a little reserved when they saw their nephew. How could Long Yi not know about the encouragement in the hearts of his brothers? He sighed deeply. He did not blame anyone. After all, a primordial warrior was an existence above everything. Even he, as a father, was different when facing his son. Before Long Yi could speak, Long Ao had already said, "Father, the family's business is my business. I will go now. All of us will be there in a while." Long Yi knew that the Long family's headquarters was in the Red Fire town, and the foundation in Thundercloud City was dispensable. If they lost the big picture because of a small matter, it would be too late for regrets. Long Ao didn't hesitate in the slightest. He immediately set off for the Scarlet Fire Town's clan. Chapter 40. Chihua Town. His son Yang Chun was killed. Yang Guantian was furious to the extreme. He even prepared to invite the Black Wind Taoist to destroy the entire Long family. "Grandpa, Senior Black Wind is here." Good. Yang Guantian didn't dare to neglect it all. He brought the Yang family out to greet him personally. Outside the Yang family, a skinny man, about 1.5 meters tall, with a cold face and an evil smile, looked at the people of the Yang family who had already filed out and said, "Guantian, it has been so many years since we last met. How have you been?" "Senior Black Wind, I'm really sorry to trouble you this time." Waving his hand, Taoist Black Wind said straightforwardly. I already know everything about this matter. It's just a small ninth-level Long family. Taoist Black Wind's arrogance seemed to be a matter of course in the eyes of the Yang family. However, Yang Guantian said with a dignified face, Senior Black Wind, you don't know what kind of luck the Long family has. They actually have a Xiantian martial artist. If not, I wouldn't have invited you here personally. The Yang family was a bit shocked by Longao's sudden advancement. Why was the Long family so lucky to have such a genius? It was precisely because of this that Yang Guantian was prepared to strike first. Otherwise, once Longao had time to grow, the Yang family would be unlucky. Xiantian martial artist? Taoist Black Wind's face was full of contempt because in his eyes, a kid who had just advanced to 100 scattering heaven was nothing to worry about. 100 scattering heaven and one-line heaven couldn't be compared at all. Let's go to the Long family now. Senior Black Wind, now? Don't you need to rest? Yang Guantian seemed a little surprised. He didn't know why Taoist Black Wind was more anxious than him. No need. Let's deal with the Long family as soon as possible. I have other things to tell you. Yang Guantian didn't know why, but he had a bad feeling when he heard Taoist Black Wind's words. However, things had already come to this point, so he could only accept it. Just like that, the Yang family brought the Black Wind Taoist and headed towards the Long family. Everyone who received the news rushed over, wanting to watch the show. Yuan also wanted to go to the Long family, but she was detained by the Wang family. The Wang family were not fools. Of course, they knew why the Yang family invited the Black Wind Taoist. If the Black Wind Taoist was involved, the Wang family would suffer a great loss. Within the Long family courtyard, looking at the majestic group of people from the Yang clan and the midget man standing at the front, no one dared to underestimate them. The Black Wind Taoist was a famous Xiantian martial artist. He was also a vicious and merciless person. Back then, because of a word of disrespect from a certain clan, he directly wiped them out. You are Longao? Exactly. Even if the other party was a Khanate stage martial artist, Longhao's face was neither servile nor overbearing as he said indifferently, if I'm not wrong, you should be the famous Black Wind Taoist, right? Ha ha ha. So this old man is so famous. Not bad, not bad. In an instant, the Black Wind Taoist's voice turned cold as he said, Longao, a debt must be paid with money. A life must be paid with a life. But seeing that you are also a figure, I'll give the Long family a chance. As long as you hand over Longao, this matter will be written off. Senior Black Wind. Without giving Yang Guantian any chance to speak, the Black Wind Taoist said, if you don't want to, I can leave immediately. I'll leave this matter to you. Impossible, Black Wind Taoist. I advise you to give up. Even if the Long family is destroyed today, we will not hand over Longao. If you want to kill us, then kill us. No need to talk nonsense. Determination was written all over the faces of the Long family members because they all knew that Longao was the hope of the Long family. As long as Longao didn't die, the rise of the Long family in the future was only a matter of time. For the Long family, so what if they died? Looking at the Long family's fearless expression, no matter if it was the Yang family or the people who were watching the show, they were all moved. This was the power of a family. Ha ha ha, Longao, Long family. Since this is the case, you can all go to hell. Suddenly, the Black Wind Taoist's body emitted an amazing aura. The aura of 100 scattering heaven peak martial artist was enough to crush anyone below the 6th celestial layer. It was unknown if the Black Wind Taoist did it on purpose, but he did not attack the others. The powerful aura instantly enveloped Longao, and the terrifying pressure was overwhelming. Kacha, Longao was only at the 10th celestial layer. How could he resist the aura of 100 scattering heaven peak martial artist? However, Longao did not kneel down. He clenched his teeth and stood proudly. Everyone could hear the sound coming from Longhao's body because of the pressure. Grandfather, father, everyone in the Long family was completely anxious. Their eyes were filled with anger, and no one retreated. They all rushed out, but everyone left quickly and returned even faster. The powerful aura directly suppressed everyone. Everyone in the Long family struggled to resist, but the difference in strength meant that the Long family would not be able to hold on for long. Kacha, Kacha. Some of the Long family disciples could not resist the pressure and directly fell to the ground, bleeding from their 7 orifices. The stronger ones were also suppressed by the aura and knelt on the ground, but their faces were still filled with determination. A warrior can be killed, but not humiliated. We would rather die than kneel. Longhausher's voice spread throughout the Long family. The disciples who were suppressed by the aura and knelt down one by one said, Long family disciples, a warrior can be killed, but not humiliated. Then they all bit their tongues and committed suicide. Looking at Longhausher and the Long family disciples who bit their tongues and committed suicide, the young family people sneered. The rest of the people were completely moved. The Long family, whether they survived or not, would be respected by everyone. Humph! A warrior can be killed, but not humiliated. Longhausher, I want to see how you won't kneel. Just as he spoke, the Black Wind Taoist released an even more powerful aura. Longhausher gradually felt that he could not hold on any longer and could kneel at any moment. However, Longhausher's powerful will continued to persist. He had already decided that if he could not hold on any longer and was about to kneel, he would bite his tongue and commit suicide. Even if he died, he could not disgrace the Long family. Chun-er, I'll make everyone in the Long family die with you, including that little bastard. Young Guantian looked at Longhausher, who was about to collapse, and wanted to laugh heartily. He could finally take revenge for his son. But at that moment, a figure shot over from not too far away. Before that person arrived, his terrifying aura and monstrous fury already arrived. Sensing that killing intent and fury, everyone's faces paled, not knowing just who had arrived. Anyone who dares to touch the Long family will die. Chapter 41. Anyone who dared to touch the Long family would die. Longao, who had arrived just in time, saw his grandfather who could not hold on any longer and a few corpses. His anger turned into boundless killing intent that covered the sky. Feeling this terrifying aura, the faces of the young family members changed. So Longao had really become a Xiantian martial artist. The Scarlet Fire Town did not know that Longao had killed Yi Guqing and Long Yulong and fought against Long Yanqing. Otherwise, why would the young family want to take revenge? Would the Black Wind Taoist dare to come? Your Longao? Longao did not have anything good to say to this black-clothed man who bullied his grandfather and went against the Long family. He said coldly, Who are you? Dwarf? Dwarf? Hearing Longao call the Black Wind Taoist a dwarf, everyone's face was a bit strange. Everyone in the Long family, including Longhausher, was overjoyed when they saw Longao descend from the sky. Longing shouted excitedly, Seventh brother, kill this dwarf for us. Big brother, grandfather, don't worry. I'll definitely kill this dwarf. Ha ha ha, little brat, you dare to speak such arrogant words. As if he had heard the funniest thing in the world, the Black Wind Taoist laughed without restraint. Even the young family members were in an uproar. Longao, you killed my son. Today, I'll make you pay back double. Young Guantian, I originally did not plan to go to your young family, but since you don't know what's good for you, I'll go personally later. I hope you'll still be as unyielding as you are now. Not putting the young family in his eyes at all, Longao coldly looked at the dwarf in front of him and said firmly, Anyone who dares to harm my Long family will definitely die. With just you? Not wanting to waste any more words, the blood-sucking blade had already appeared in his hand. One man and one blade stood proudly. Longhausher looked at his grandson in shock. In just a few months, his grandson seemed to have completely changed. He had actually reached the Xiantian realm and led his family to become an 8th-rank family. At this moment, Longhausher and the others still did not know about Longao's battle results. If they knew, who knew how proud the Long family would be? Humph, you overestimate yourself. I'll let you know the consequences of offending me. Black Wind Taoist did not put the other party in his eyes at all. As a martial artist at the peak of 100 Scatter Heaven, Ordinary hundred scatter heaven martial artists were not his opponent at all, unless he encountered a one-line heaven expert. Was the opponent a frontline heaven expert? Without further ado, Black Wind Taoist chose to make the first move. At the same time, he dashed out with an overwhelming aura. Longao didn't want to waste time and wanted to end the battle quickly. He summoned his soul slave, and a terrifying chi aura immediately devoured his opponent's aura. Furthermore, his soul slave took advantage of the situation and started fighting with the Black Wind Taoist. One-line sky. Taoist Black Wind was almost scared out of his wits. He was arrogant, but he also knew his own limits. With his current strength, going against an expert from one-line sky was no different from throwing an egg against a rock. He was seeking his own death. Black Wind Taoist could not figure out that his opponent would summon a one-line sky ghost. He himself was a shameless villain. Feeling the overwhelming aura, he directly turned around and prepared to leave. You want to leave? How could Longao let Black Wind Taoist go? Anyone who dared to humiliate the Long family must be killed. The soul slave's speed was far faster than Black Wind Taoist. When the soul power invaded Black Wind Taoist's body, its strength had already decreased. Longao seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and fiercely slashed at Black Wind Taoist with his blood-sucking blade. Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. 9 blade lights constantly superimposed and turned into a shocking blade light that fell from the sky. Black Wind Taoist didn't even have time to scream before he was cut in half by the blade light. Black Wind Taoist died? Looking at the corpse on the ground, everyone was stunned. Their faces were full of shock and disbelief. Black Wind Taoist was a veteran Xiantian martial artist and was very famous. But what about Longao? It had been less than a month since his breakthrough, but he was actually able to kill Black Wind Taoist. Such a contrast seemed to be a little unacceptable to everyone. Yang Guantian was the first to react. His face was ashen because he knew that the death of Black Wind Taoist had sealed the fate of the Yang family. Who in the Yang family could be his opponent? The Long family had produced such an amazing character, it was already destined that the Long family would definitely rise in the future. If the Yang family wanted to take revenge, unless a peerless genius also appeared, but would Longao give the Yang family a chance to rise? Said Longao, choking with emotion. Even now, he was still unable to react. His own grandson had actually killed Taoist Black Wind. Was this for real? Grandfather, I'll leave this matter to you. Longao was very smart. He knew very well that his grandfather Longao was the head of the Long family. He could help the Long family fend off enemies, but he couldn't make decisions for the Long family. How could Longao not know what his grandson meant? He nodded and said, Yang Guantian, you and I have been fighting for more than 30 years, but there has never been a victor. My Long family and your Yang family have always maintained the balance in the Scarlet Fire Town. Originally, we could have continued like this and lived in peace, but you destroyed the balance. Longao, cut the crap. Since my Yang family has been defeated, then you can kill me or cut me up as you wish. Longhao's eyes turned cold. He said, cut the weeds and dig up the roots. Kill. Longao was very clear about his grandfather's meaning. As the saying goes, if you don't remove the roots when cutting the grass, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. The Yang family could invite a Black Wind Taoist this time, then they might be able to invite a Blue Wind Taoist next time. As long as the Yang family was not destroyed, it would always be a threat to the Long family. After that, Longao did not hold back at all. He led the Long family disciples and slaughtered almost the entire Yang family, leaving only the women and children. After all, he could not bear to do such a thing. In the end, Longao was still a little soft-hearted. If the Long family was defeated this time, then the Yang family would not hesitate to destroy the entire Long family, leaving no one alive. When Long Yi and the others arrived, the Long family's crisis had been completely resolved. Longao also finally knew what his grandson had done in Thundercloud City. It could only be described with one word, earth-shattering, within the Long family's courtyard. Yuan, I don't blame you. You don't need to be so sad. Looking at the tearful Yuan, Longao was truly helpless. He would rather fight a Xiantian cultivator than face the current Yuan. I know this is my fault. It's all Father's fault for making me faint. Even if you don't blame me, I blame myself. These troubles were big. Longao felt a headache. He used all his strength and patiently coaxed Wang Yuan. Chapter 42. After a full 4 hours, Longao finally managed to coax Yuan. Yuan, I've always had a question. I hope you can answer me truthfully. Looking deeply at the youth in front of her, Yuan seemed to know what the other party wanted to ask. Her eyes were somewhat evasive, and she stammered as if she was hiding something. Yuan, 10 years ago, I remember that you weren't like this. Why have you become like this in just a short 10 years? What happened to you? If you treat me as your lover, I hope you can tell me. For 10 years, Longao had always had a question in his heart. It was about Yu Yin's weight gain and appearance. It should be known that 10 years ago, Wang Yuan was beautiful and was praised as the #1 beauty in the Red Fire town. However, ever since he failed to condense his inner strength, Wang Yuan seemed to have changed completely. Longao didn't know why, but he always felt that Yuan's change was related to him. Longao, this is my secret. Can you not ask? No. Looking at Longao's determined face, Yuan deeply sighed and then told him what happened 10 years ago. It turned out that 10 years ago, Longao failed to break through and turned from a former genius to the current trash. He was ridiculed by everyone. At that moment, Yuan swore that she would protect the person she loved even if she had to die. It was because of this that Yuan tried all kinds of methods and finally became the disciple of an expert who was about to die. From then on, she cultivated a poison martial art. At the beginning, Yuan was wholeheartedly focused on improving her strength and did not study this martial art properly. Ever since she cultivated this poison martial art, not only did Yuan start to become ugly, she also slowly gained weight. For 10 whole years, Yuan never gave up. No matter how fat or ugly she became, she never gave up on cultivating this poison martial art. After listening, Longao stood in the same place in a daze and did not say a word. Longao, are you all right? He pulled Yuan into his arms and hugged her tightly. Longao, what's wrong with you? She still didn't say anything. She just stared at him. It wasn't until this moment that Longao realized how much this woman had sacrificed for him. She had even sacrificed the most important thing to a woman. Yuan, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? I can do everything for you. No matter what you become, I will stay by your side. You're so silly. Just like this, the two of them looked at each other. After an unknown amount of time, the two of them sat quietly at the stone table in the courtyard. Longao said, Yuan, from now on, I will protect you by your side. So from today onwards, you are not allowed to practice this martial art. Longao, it's me. Waving his hand, he stopped Yuan from continuing. Longao's voice was unquestionable as he said, if I find out that you're still practicing this martial art in the future, I'll immediately cripple my own cultivation. Don't be angry. I know. I won't practice this martial art in the future. Yuan, I'm not angry. I just hate myself. 10 years, you've become like this for me. Don't worry, I'll definitely help you become the #1 beauty of the Scarlet Fire Town 10 years ago. Yuan didn't say anything. She just smiled happily. After chatting with Yuan for a while, Longao began to shut himself in and study the art of alchemy. This time, he wasn't studying the spirit-gathering pill. Instead, he was studying the beauty pill and the weight loss pill. Although the beauty pill and the weight loss pill could help a woman become more beautiful, the help was very small. Longao was very clear in his heart that if he wanted to completely restore Yuan to how she was 10 years ago, just relying on the beauty pill and the weight loss pill was far from enough. Long family's main hall. Aoer, where did you get these gold cards? Not to mention Long E, even Long Haosher and the others were shocked. After all, there were 300 million gold coins in these gold cards. What did this mean? As long as the Long family obtained 300 million gold coins, then from today onwards, the Long family would have more capital to enter Thundercloud City. Father, I obtained these gold cards by accident. However, if the family wants to develop, just 300 million gold coins is far from enough. Therefore, I refined many beauty pills and weight loss pills. Following that, Longao explained his thoughts. After hearing this, everyone wasn't as happy as they imagined. Longao said worriedly, alchemists are the strongest existences. They are the most discriminating against their peers refining pills for women. If you refine these pills, won't other alchemists cause trouble? Longao had already thought about this problem. He shook his head and said, Grandfather, it's fine. I only have one goal, and that is to use the fastest speed to strengthen the family. Not only do we want to become an 8th rank family, but we also want to become a 7th rank family, a 5th rank family, and even a 3rd rank family in the future. If the Longao of the past said these words, he would definitely be laughed at by everyone. However, the situation now was different. Longao's status in the Long family was no longer the same as before. Even if he said some bold words, no one would doubt it. Since it's like this, let's do it. In the following days, aside from thinking of ways to help Yuin recover her appearance from 10 years ago, Longao also refined beauty pills, weight loss pills, and other pills for women. The Long family's speed was also very fast. Long Yi brought a few of his younger brothers to Thundercloud City to develop their foundation. Longao's sudden rise caused the Long family's status in Thundercloud City to change. In just a few days, the Long family's foundation in Thundercloud City had expanded by several times. This was something that no one in the Long family expected. Long Fu, is there any way to recover my lover's appearance and figure? Long Fu always had the same expression. He nodded expressionlessly and said, Master, the method is very simple. As long as I bring the power of the blood pool into her body, I believe that she will recover her original appearance and figure in less than 3 days. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was overjoyed. Without any hesitation, he found Yuin and said straightforwardly, Yuin, listen to me. I've already thought of a way to help you recover your appearance and figure from 10 years ago. However, you have to promise me that from now on, no matter what happens, you can't cultivate this martial art. I will. Yu Yin's face was also filled with joy. If she said that she didn't want to recover her appearance and figure from 10 years ago, that would be a lie. After all, which woman would want to become ugly? Wanting to be beautiful was a woman's nature. It was an unchangeable fact. Longao, is there any way to recover my appearance from 10 years ago? Don't ask. Just stand here quietly. No matter what kind of power enters your body, don't try to resist. Understand? Understood. Chapter 43. Yuin was completely reliant on Longao. Just like that, Long Fu borrowed the power of the blood pool and entered Wang Yuin's body, constantly repairing the cells that had been damaged over the past 10 years. 3 days later, Wang Yuin reappeared in the Scarlet Fire town, but everyone acted as if they didn't know her. However, everyone's face was filled with amazement. When everyone knew that the beauty was Wang Yuin, everyone was completely shocked. It could be said that Wang Yuin was the best advertisement. Ever since Wang Yuin changed from an ugly girl to a beautiful girl and regained her appearance from 10 years ago, the news spread from 1 person to 10, and from 10 to 100. In less than 2 days, not only Scarlet Fire Town, even Thundercloud City knew about it. In a short period of time, the pills refined by Longao became the hottest pills, even surpassing the spirit-gathering pill. 1 pill cost 15 million gold coins. Outside the Long family's door, Elder Yi, it's just a small 100 scatter sky. We can just take care of it. Why bother you to personally make a trip? Daring to kill my grandson, I'll make them pay the price. Yi Hao's face was extremely gloomy. He never thought that his grandson would be killed by a small 100 scatter sky cultivator. Yi Hao, Yi Guqing's grandfather, was also an elder of the Flowing Cloud sect. The Flowing Cloud sect was very powerful, even above Thundercloud City. After receiving the news of his grandson's death, Yi Hao was both furious and sad. He directly brought 2 one-line sky cultivators and rushed over from the Flowing Cloud sect. However, the 3 of them did not immediately start a massacre. No matter what, the other party was still an 8th rank Long family. As the saying goes, even if you don't look at the monk, you have to look at the Buddha. An 8th rank Long family might not be much, but what about the Long family behind them? Longao, you bastard, come out and die. Feeling the terrifying killing intent that covered the sky, everyone in the Long family was a little shocked. They did not know which idiot dared to provoke the current Long family. Before they could leave, Longao appeared in front of them and waved his hand. Everyone, don't make a move without my permission. With Longao's current status, no one dared to defy him. Everyone felt quite confused, not knowing what had happened. Long Haosher, Long Yi, and the others who had rushed over curiously asked, Ao, what happened? A frontline heaven expert. Frontline heaven. If it really was a frontline heaven expert, then Long Ao wouldn't be so solemn. This was because he could sense from the aura released by the other party that the other party's strength far surpassed that of the soul slaves. It even surpassed that of the willow tree. Could it be that this person's spiritual power had already filled all 108 acupuncture points? Chapter 44. Yihao and the other two had never imagined that the other party would actually use the Long family to restrict them. In this way, Long Ao no longer had any connection with the Long family. If the three of them insisted on destroying the Long family, then they were not putting the Long family in their eyes. Although the Long family might not be able to take care of a small 8th rank Long family, it was better to be safe than sorry. What if the Long family really stood up for the Long family? The strength of the Long family was something the three of them knew very well. Because of this, their expressions were extremely ugly. Yihao sneered, "What a great self-seeking Long family. Long Ao, don't think that you can escape just because you've done this. I'll let you taste all the pain and slowly torture you to death." Ao, why do you have to do this? The entire Long family swears to live and die with you. Yihao, if you have the ability, then let's leave this place and fight. Ignoring his grandfather and father, Long Ao knew that since he had already chosen to self-seek the Long family, then he had to show the proper attitude. Otherwise, once Yihao and the other two got a hold of his weakness, the consequences would be unimaginable. Today, I want to see just how you're going to play tricks in front of me. Yihao and the other two coldly chased after them. In the blink of an eye, the four of them had already disappeared without a trace. Even now, the Long family members still hadn't reacted. Ao did this because he didn't want to implicate us. The family has let him down. Hearing Long Haosher's words, everyone's faces were filled with pain. The family had finally managed to raise a genius, but he was strangled in the cradle just like that. Only now did everyone truly understand that without strength, they couldn't even protect their own family members. Father, since we're a branch of the Long family, why can't we ask the Long family for help? Easier said than done. Long family has countless branches and is divided into 9 ranks. The highest rank is the Long family. It's an existence that we can't even touch. As for the 2nd and 3rd rank Long families, it's the same. However, I know that in Starcloud City, there's a 5th rank Long family. In Thunderbolt City, there's a 4th rank Long family. 5th rank Long family? 4th rank Long family? This kind of super existence was not something that a rank 8 Long family could come into contact with. It was no wonder that his grandfather was like this. No matter what, we have to try. Father, Ao, has a good relationship with the mayor of Thundercloud City. As long as we ask the mayor to help us contact the rank 5 Long family of Starcloud City, I believe that even the Sky Cloud Martial School would not dare to mess with us. Well, let's give it a try. Long Haosher's eyes were filled with desolation. It was as if at that moment Long Haosher had aged a lot. He couldn't even protect the only grandson he cared about. As the head of the family, he was simply too unqualified. Grandpa, uncle, no matter what happens, our Long clan cannot back down. So we must go find 7th brother. We swear to live and die with him. Yes, big brother is right. We swear to live and die with 7th brother. No, Go back and cultivate obediently. Without my orders, no one is allowed to take half a step out of the Long family. Uncle, why is that? Isn't seventh brother your son? Long Ing and the rest really could not understand why eldest uncle would not let them go. Each and every one of their faces were filled with anger. What's the point of you going? Could it be that you guys are Xiantian martial artists? Are you a match for a Xiantian warrior? Ao exiled himself from the family in order to protect you. If you still insist on doing this, how can you live up to Ao's painstaking efforts? Exiling himself from the family. Thinking about how long Ao was willing to sacrifice himself to protect the family, everyone felt extremely pained. To have such a family member, they could die without regrets. In order to not let the family be implicated, Long Ao led the three of them and ran. In the blink of an eye, the four of them had already left Scarlet Flame Town. In an open space, both sides were staring at each other, emitting powerful auras. Long Ao, I have to admit that you are indeed a talent. Unfortunately, you killed my grandson. Your crime is unforgivable. Not to mention that you are just a small 100 scatter heaven. Even if you are from one line sky, you are still trash in front of me. Are you really that confident? Ha ha ha. I'll let you know the difference between Evolution Realm and 100 Scatter Sky. Evolution Realm? What realm was this? However, the other party did not give him a chance. Long Ao did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. He directly released his soul slave, holding Bloodsucker Wild Saber, and slashed out Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. 9 blood-colored saber lights were constantly superimposed, and the accumulated power was unstoppable. The two one-line Sky Masters did not make a move because they knew that Yihao had to personally take revenge in order to relieve the resentment and killing intent in his heart. A powerful aura covered the sky. Before the person arrived, just the aura alone was able to suppress the saber lights and instantly dissipate them. What kind of concept was this? Feeling the powerful aura released by the other party, Long Ao's heart was also filled with shock. He had full confidence in his Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. Even a one-line Sky Master would not be able to easily disperse his saber lights. Could this be the strength of an Evolution Realm Master? The Soul Slave was very powerful, but even so, with just one move, it was suppressed by Yihao's powerful aura and was forced to retreat. Not to mention attacking, even taking a step forward had become incomparably difficult. Calling back his soul slave, Long Ao clearly knew that the other party's strength had far exceeded his understanding. Even his soul slave was not a match for the other party. One could imagine how terrifying the other party's strength was. Long Ao, do you feel powerless now? Powerless, your sister. The bloodsucker wild saber in his hand once again slashed out, and the saber lights continued to surge. From the beginning to the end, Long Ao did not know what kind of existence the Evolution Realm was. The only thing he knew was that the Evolution Realm was above one-line sky. He did not dare to relax. If he was careless, he would immediately be killed by the other party. However, the difference in strength made Long Ao unable to counterattack. He was firmly suppressed by Yihao's powerful aura. He did not know if it was intentional or not, but Yihao did not kill him. He relied on his aura to suppress the other party. Gotcha. Because Long Ao could not resist the pressure of the aura, he directly knelt down on one knee. However, his strong willpower kept him from falling down. Traces of blood seeped out of his 5 orifices: his eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. At this moment, Long Ao looked extremely terrifying. Seeing the youth not giving up and tenaciously resisting, the two people not far away, Dongfang Yin and Wang Ran, were somewhat moved. With such willpower and talent, if he could become a disciple of the Flowing Cloud sect, they believed that in a few years, a young martial artist would appear in the Flowing Cloud sect. However, the other party no longer had such an opportunity. Chapter 45. The aura released by Yihao was too strong, and Long Ao had no power to resist at all. His face was pale, and his body began to tremble. At this moment, Longao found a powerful force pouring into his dantian and instantly flowing through his limbs and bones. Master, I have helped you refine the one-line heaven soul that you killed before. Longao was overjoyed. After the battle with Black Wind Taoist, he did not plan to continue refining soul slaves. After all, he already had a one-line heaven soul slave, and refining another 100 scatter heaven soul slave seemed a little redundant. The sacred desolation body required far more power to increase one's cultivation than an ordinary warrior's cultivation. Longao knew very well that as long as he could break through the peak of 100 scatter heaven, he would not need a huge amount of power to advance to one-line heaven. He only needed to force all the spiritual power in his body into his dantian. It was because of this that Longao chose to give up refining soul slaves and let Long Fu turn the soul into power for him to break through one-line heaven. A huge amount of power poured into his limbs and bones. He had to admit that the soul of a one-line heaven martial artist was very strong, especially the power refined by the blood pool. It increased by a full 1/3. In the blink of an eye, Longao broke through to the peak of 100 scatter heaven with the help of a huge amount of spiritual power. However, the terrifying aura kept suppressing him, and he could be suppressed to kneel on the ground at any time. Longao knew that the other party deliberately did not kill him to make him kneel and beg for mercy. He did not know whether Longao's luck was good or bad. Under normal circumstances, even with the support of a huge amount of power, it would not be easy to force all the power into his dantian. But now, with a huge amount of power entering and under the suppression of a terrifying aura, Longao did not let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He did not block this powerful aura, but guided it into his body and slowly pushed all the spiritual power in his body into his dantian. What is he doing? Is he using Elder Ye's aura to break through? Seeing this youth's actions, the two one-line sky martial artists were thoroughly shocked. As for Yi Hao, he might have been blinded by hatred, but he didn't care about anything else. He continued to release a powerful aura, ruthlessly suppressing his opponent. Just as Longao thought, Yi Hao only had a single objective, and it was to make him kneel and beg for mercy. Not only did Yi Hao want to kill him, he also wanted to humiliate him. Only then would he be able to seek justice for his grandson. Enduring the pain, Longao did not give up. His eyes were filled with unparalleled determination. It was because of this determination that he was able to hold on in the end and stand up again. Force! Longao roared. Then, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth quickly gathered around his body. A fierce and terrifying aura slowly condensed. It was Yi Hao's force. Longao relied on his constant perseverance and unyielding belief to finally condense his own force. Not only that, Longao used this force to quickly force all the spiritual chi in his body into his dantian. Thus, his cultivation officially advanced to one-line sky. Longao's sudden advancement to one-line sky and his success in condensing force completely shocked the three people. Especially Yi Hao, he was furious to the extreme. He never thought that under his absolute force, not only did his opponent not kneel and beg for mercy, but instead used his force to successfully break through to one-line sky and even condense his own force. A one-line sky martial artist successfully condensed force? Yi Hao didn't continue to hesitate. He didn't want his opponent to kneel and beg for mercy. He shot out like an arrow and fiercely chopped down with his palm. The strength of a master was not something a one-line sky martial artist could compare to. Suddenly opening his eyes, Longao's cultivation successfully broke through to one-line sky. The aura on his body instantly increased several times. The bloodthirsty blade in his hand also fiercely chopped down. The terrifying blood-red blade light had an icy aura. Bloodthirsty 8 styles, second style, heart-devouring ice. Yi Hao was full of confidence that he could scatter the blood-red blade light with his palm. But when his palm collided with the blade light, not only did it not scatter, but it also backfired. The cold blade light instantly invaded his body and went straight for his heart. The most terrifying thing about heart-devouring ice was that it was all-pervasive. Once the cold blade light invaded the body, it would erode the internal organs, even devour the soul, and freeze the entire body. If it was an ordinary Xiantian martial artist, once the cold blade light invaded the body, it would be very difficult to resist this heart-devouring ice. But Yi Hao was not a one-line sky martial artist. He was a master above one-line sky. After a brief shock, Yi Hao used his powerful spiritual qi to expel the cold aura from his body. Looking ahead, the youth had already disappeared. Yi Hao's expression was unsightly to the extreme. He asked, "Where is he?" "Elder Yi, Longao has already left." "Left? Why didn't you stop him?" Hearing this, Yi Hao almost fainted from anger. This time, he brought the two one-line sky martial artists here to be foolproof, but in the end, the other party still ran away. "Elder Yi, we're sorry." The two one-line sky martial artists were already scared to the extreme. The other party could actually resist Elder Yi, let alone the two of them. "Longao, no matter where you run to, I will kill you. The two of you will guard the Long family day and night. Remember, as long as you see Longao, inform me immediately." "Elder Yi, are you going to return to the sect?" The two were extremely depressed. They didn't know why, but they felt that even if they joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for the other party. Although they knew that this was a bit absurd, this feeling was real. How could Yi Hao not know what the two were thinking? He said, "Don't worry, I won't return to the sect. I will stay in Scarlet Fire Town. As long as you get the news, inform me immediately." Even if they were unwilling in their hearts, the two still nodded helplessly. The news of the Sky Cloud sect's elder, Yi Guqing's grandfather, Yi Hao, killing his way to the sect had spread throughout Scarlet Fire Town in the blink of an eye. Even the Thunder Cloud City knew about it. Anyone who knew about it was shocked. Although Longao's rise was out of the ordinary, the reputation of Sky Cloud sect's elder Yi Hao far surpassed Longao's. Almost everyone thought that Longao's chances of survival were close to zero. But just when everyone thought that Longao was dead for sure, the news that Yi Hao didn't kill Longao came. What kind of situation was this? Longao actually escaped from the hands of the Sky Cloud sect's elder? The Long family members who received the news were all overjoyed. As long as Longao didn't die, then there was hope. Chapter 46. His cultivation base had successfully broken through to one-line sky, and he had condensed his own force. Longao still did not choose to fight Yi Hao head-on. At the same time, Longao didn't choose to leave Scarlet Fire Town either. Although he had already exiled his family, it was better to be safe than sorry. If Yi Hao shamelessly attacked his family while he wasn't there, wouldn't his family be in big trouble? Thundercloud City's mayor, Lu Mu, personally reported the matter of Scarlet Fire Town's Long family to Star Cloud City. Everyone in the Long family, including Lu Mu, thought that Star Cloud City's rank 5 Long family wouldn't appear. However, things were unpredictable. In just one night, Star Cloud City's rank 5 Long family and even the royal family sent people to Sky Cloud sect. After negotiations between the two sides, the Flowing Cloud sect finally agreed. This was a personal grudge between Yi Hao and Longao, and would not involve the Flowing Cloud sect and the level 8 Long family. With no other choice, Yi Hao could only bring the two frontline heavens and leave the Scarlet Fire Town. Yi Hao knew that although Sky Cloud sect was powerful, they wouldn't offend Star Cloud Royal family and rank 5 Long family for him. Because of this, even if he continued to stay in Scarlet Fire Town, it would be useless. As long as Longao didn't appear, would he just stay here for the rest of his life? After receiving the news, Longao didn't return to his family. Although Star Cloud Royal family and rank 5 Long family had appeared, once he appeared in the Long family and was discovered by Yi Hao, no one knew what would happen. Without the threat of Yi Hao, Longao didn't continue to stay in Scarlet Fire Town and left for Thundercloud City. Thundercloud City, Mayor's Mansion. Thank you, Mayor. I will definitely repay this favor in the future. Seeing the sudden appearance of the youth, Lu Mu seemed to be surprised, but he was more appreciative. He waved his hand and said, "Don't stand on ceremony. Come, sit." Inside the pavilion, the two sat down. Ever since the news of Longao killing Long Yulong and Yi Gucheng and successfully leaving after resisting Yi Hao spread, Lu Mu's attitude had undergone a huge change. Brother Long, your cultivation broke through one-line sky? Longao didn't hide the fact that he had broken through. He nodded and said, I was lucky to break through in the battle with Yi Hao. Lucky breakthrough? Lu Mu revealed a helpless expression and smiled bitterly. He said enviously, Brother Long's talent and potential are the best I have ever seen. However, although the rank 5 Long clan and the Nebula Royal clan have made an appearance, Yi Hao will definitely not let this matter rest. So, you still have to be careful. I will, City Lord. If you don't mind, you can call me Big Brother Lu. He seemed to be surprised, but Longao still shouted, Brother Lu, I am very curious. Why would the rank 5 Long family and the Nebula Royal family help my Long family this time? With regards to this point, Longao was very curious. After all, in the eyes of the Nebula Royal family and the rank 5 Long family, his family was basically dispensable. Since that was the case, why would the other party help his family? Brother Long, the reason why the Nebula Royal family and the rank 5 Long family are willing to step in is all because of you. Because of me? That's right. If it was you a few months ago, I believe that the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family would not have come forward. However, ever since you killed Long Yulong and Yi Guqing and escaped unscathed from the battle with Yi Hao, the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family are preparing to rope you in. Rope him in? Longao instantly understood the meaning behind Lu Mu's words. In the end, the reason why the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family helped was not because of his family, but because of his talent and potential. In other words, if he could not escape from Yi Hao, then the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family would not even look at him and his family. In the end, talent and strength were still the most important. As if he knew what Longao was thinking, Lu Mu said, The world is like this. You have to learn to adapt to it and not reject it. He did not continue to think about this problem. No matter what the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family's intentions were, helping him and his family meant that his family was not in danger. It was more or less a good thing. Brother Long, what do you plan to do next? If people don't offend me, I will not offend them. Since Yi Hao wants to deal with me, then I will give him the chance. Lu Mu was not surprised at all. He said, with the Nebula Royal family and the level 5 Long family's help, the Sky Cloud Martial School should not interfere in this matter. As if he had thought of something, Longao hurriedly asked, Brother Lu, I want to ask you, above the one-line sky, is there an even more powerful existence? What is the evolution realm? So you still don't know about the evolution realm? Yes, Yi Hao is an evolution realm warrior. His strength is very powerful. That's right, Yi Hao is an evolution realm warrior. There are a total of 5 realms for a warrior to break through from the postnatal level to the postnatal level. They are 100 scatter sky, one-line sky, evolution, fusion, and unification. Every realm is a qualitative leap. 5 realms of postnatal, 100 scatter sky, one-line sky, evolution, fusion, and unification. Longao finally knew about the 5 realms of postnatal. Brother Long, there is only one thing you need to do now, and that is to use your spirit power to fill all 108 acupuncture points in your body. The more acupuncture points you fill with spirit power, the more powerful you will be. Once you have filled all of your spirit power, you can try to form your own aura. At that time, you can use your aura to evolve all 108 acupuncture points. Once you have evolved all of them, you will have truly stepped into the evolution realm. So that's how it is. Longao knew in his heart that although he had successfully formed his own aura under the pressure of Yi Hao's powerful aura, as long as he did not evolve all 108 acupuncture points, his cultivation would not be considered to have officially broken through to the evolution realm. He did not think about the evolution realm. Longao was not a person who bit off more than he could chew. This was because he knew that if he wanted to reach the peak of martial arts, he had to do it step by step. There was no benefit in being impatient. It wasn't an easy task to fill all the 108 acupuncture points in his body with spiritual energy. It seemed that revenge wasn't going to be an easy task. The difference between the one-line sky and the evolution realm was just like the difference between the 100 scatter sky and one-line sky. Brother Long, I know you are anxious to take revenge, but I still want to advise you not to be reckless. As the saying goes, 10 years is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. With your talent and potential, I believe that even breaking through to the evolution realm will not be difficult. At that time, it will not be too late to kill Yi Hao. Nodding his head, Longao said, Brother Liu, I know what to do. Before I become stronger, I will not act rashly. Brother Long, what do you plan to do next? I will temporarily stay in Thundercloud City for a period of time. In a while, I will head to Starcloud City. When I return to Thundercloud City, it will be the day of my revenge. His face was filled with determination. Yi Hao must be killed. Chapter 47. Brother Long, there's one more thing. The beauty pill and other pills that you concocted previously have caused great dissatisfaction in the Alchemy Guild, so you have to be careful. Got it. Longao chatted with Lu Mu for a while, then he stood up and left. Not far away, behind the Lotus Pond, in an extremely secluded place, Lu Ji looked coldly at the gradually disappearing figure, her face filled with viciousness. Humph. I'll let you know the consequences of provoking me. It turned out that when Longao had just entered the City Lord's mansion, Lu Ji had received the news and spread the news. The first person she informed was Longao's archrival, Yi Hao. After leaving the City Lord's mansion, Longao did not swagger into Thundercloud City. Instead, he disguised himself and found a medium-sized inn to stay for the time being. The night was silent. The next day, early morning, Longao had cultivated for an entire night. As soon as he stepped out of the inn, he saw 6 or 7 people coming from not far away. Some of them could be considered as old friends and relatives. They were Mu Feng, Mu Yong, Mu Yihong, Mu Yihao, and Mu Yin from the Mu clan. As for the remaining 2 young men, their faces were cold and their bodies were emitting powerful Xiantian qi. Mu He, Mu Ji. Although he had never seen the 2 young geniuses of the Mu clan, Longao recognized them immediately. It seemed like they were here to cause trouble. I really didn't expect that trash could turn the tables. Longao, you're not bad. Your mouth is full of dog shit. Trash, how dare you talk to Big Brother like that? Why not? Those who humiliate others will be humiliated. Those who humiliate others will be humiliated? All right, since that's the case, I'll have a fair fight with you. If you win, I'll take a detour whenever I see you. How about it? Longao knew that if he did not accept the challenge, the people in front of him would not let it go. Since that was the case, he would fight. All right, I accept the challenge. However, you're not my opponent. Both of you can come at me together. Ha ha ha, you want to challenge Big Brother and Second Brother? Hearing Longao's words, everyone laughed unscrupulously, as if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. Mu He and Mu Ji waved their hands. The 2 of them did not ridicule him in the slightest. After all, the other party was able to kill Long Yulong and Yi Gucheng. How could he not have some real strength? Everyone scattered in all directions, leaving only Longao, Mu He, and Mu Ji in the open space. As the top geniuses of the Mu clan, Mu He and Mu Ji naturally knew that the other party's strength was not to be underestimated. Mu Ji's strength might not be comparable to Long Yulong's, but Mu He's strength far surpassed Long Yulong's, and even surpassed Yi Gucheng's. Among the younger generation of Thundercloud City, there were 2 people who entered the 100 battle ranking. Mu He was one of them. He was ranked 95th on the 100 battle ranking, 1 place higher than Yi Gucheng. That was why Mu He was so confident in challenging Longao. He wanted to tell everyone that the 95th on the 100 battle ranking list was much stronger than the 96th. Attack. Mu He and Mu Ji moved together, attacking from left and right. Longao did not release the strength of One Line Sky. It was more than enough to deal with the 2 of them with the strength of 100 Dispersion Sky. The 3 of them seemed to have a tacit understanding because none of them used weapons. In the blink of an eye, the 3 of them were engaged in a fierce battle. They fought back and forth for more than 10 rounds in an instant, but there was no clear winner. Once an expert made a move, the truth would be revealed. The people of the Mu clan who had been ridiculing them were all stunned. Until now, Everyone realized that the trash of the Long family was actually so strong that he could fight with the eldest brother and second brother, and there was no clear winner. Mu He and Mu Ji became more and more shocked as the battle went on. The other party was indeed worthy of killing Yigu Chung. It seemed that he had some strength. Because of this, Mu He and Mu Ji did not show any mercy, and each move was stronger than the last. In fact, with Mu He's strength, it was already embarrassing for him to fight 2 against 1. After all, he was a super figure ranked 95th on the 100 battle ranking list. However, Mu He knew that he could not afford to lose, so he joined forces with his second brother, Heavenly Profound Finger. Ever since his cultivation had broken through the one-line sky realm, Longao had already been able to use the Heavenly Profound 7 transformations. Furthermore, when he used the Heavenly Profound 7 fingers, the powerful finger force passed through the space and accurately shot onto Mu Ji's right shoulder. Longao did not kill him, but in order to end the battle quickly, the power of this finger was also very strong. Plop! Mu Ji's body flew out and was caught by the others. Mu Ji also lost the ability to continue to attack, and could only reluctantly endure the pain from his right shoulder. Seeing his second brother being knocked down, Mu He was also shocked. He did not dare to continue to hesitate and used Mu Ji's innate martial skill. However, Longao was one step ahead of him. He used Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes on both fists and suddenly smashed out. Longao's speed was simply too fast. Mu He had just seen a series of fist shadows when he was knocked down. If it were not for his opponent's mercy, he was afraid that he would have been smashed to death with one punch. Even if he was unwilling to admit it, Mu He still said, "I lost. From now on, you are ranked 95th on the 100 battle ranking list." Longao defeated Mu He and successfully advanced 1 rank, from the previous 96th rank to the 95th rank. Mu He, on the other hand, dropped 1 rank from the 95th rank to the 96th rank. You have such talent, but if you don't cultivate properly, it will be very difficult for you to improve in this lifetime. I hope you can continue to work hard. Although he didn't like the people in front of him, no matter what, they were his relatives. Even if it was for his mother's sake, Longao reminded him. Hearing this, Mu He's body suddenly trembled, as if he had an epiphany. He bowed and said, "Thank you for your guidance. If I have any achievements in the future, I will definitely thank you for today's kindness." Looking at Mu He, who turned and left, Longao nodded with appreciation. It was not too late to mend the pin after a sheep was lost. If Mu He could practice hard, with his powerful talent, his future would be limitless. He shook his head helplessly. He was promoted from 96th to 95th in the 100 battle ranking list in a daze. It was as if the ranking was given to him for free. 6th level Long family. Looking in the direction of the 6th level Long family in the distance, Longao's face showed a trace of fear and worry. The reason why he did not leave Thundercloud City in a short time was because of the 6th level Long family. With the help of the Nebula Imperial family and the 6th level Long family, he could temporarily ignore the Skycloud sect. However, the 6th level Long family was different. He had killed Long Yulong, so Long Yinqing must hate him to the core. Who knew if Long Yinqing and the 6th level Long family would deal with his family? Once they took action, his family would only be exterminated. It could be said that they had no power to resist. Because of this, Longao wanted to completely resolve the grudge between himself and the 6th level Long family. Only then could he leave with peace of mind. Chapter 48. Thundercloud City, Level 6 Long Family. Young Master is back. Young Master is back. As the servants spread the surprise, Long Yinqing and the others appeared in the courtyard of the Long family. Seeing the young man coming in, everyone was pleasantly surprised. Thick eyebrows, big eyes, facial features, and a cold, murderous aura unnaturally exuded from his body. Seeing Long Yinqing and Long Hemming, the young man quickened his pace and knelt on the ground, saying, "Grandfather, father, I'm back." Holding up his most proud grandson, Long Yinqing's eyes were filled with tears, and he kept saying, "Good. Father, where's Yulong?" The young man was called Lunatic Long because he had only done one thing since he was young, and that was cultivation. It was because of this that Lunatic Long entered the 100 battle ranking list at the age of 25 and was ranked 78th. Lunatic Long was the pride of the Long family and even Thundercloud City. He was known as the strongest person in Thundercloud City. It was said that Lunatic Long's spiritual power had filled 108 acupuncture points. Once he condensed his own power and successfully evolved it, he could officially break through to the evolution realm. Lunatic Long was poisoned by others and has passed away. Hearing that his own brother was dead, Lunatic Long seemed to be in disbelief. His face instantly became gloomy, and his body exuded a cold, murderous aura. He asked viciously, "Who was it?" "Long family of the Red Fire Town, Longao." Lunatic Long loved his brother the most since he was young, and this time, he returned from far away mainly for Longao. But now? Lunatic Long clenched his fists tightly and almost roared, "I'm going to destroy the Long family of the Red Fire Town." "Who are you? How dare you destroy my Long family?" Looking at the young man who walked in from outside, everyone's expression was a little strange because no one thought that he would swagger in so openly. Could it be that he was really that confident? "You're Longao?" "Yes, if I'm not wrong. You should be Lunatic Long." "Kill you, Lang. No matter who you are, you'll still die." Madman Long released a powerful killing intent. The aura of a peak one-line sky martial artist was like a monstrous wave, each wave stronger than the last. It was endless. However, Long Ao stood there proudly, as if he simply ignored the other party's imposing aura. It was precisely because of this that Lunatic Long was a little surprised. No wonder the other party could kill his younger brother. It turned out that his cultivation had already broken through the 100 scatter heavens realm and reached the one-line heavens realm. Others might not know what one-line sky meant, but how could he not know? One-line sky. One-line sky. Hearing his grandson's words, Long Yinqing seemed to be a little surprised. More than that, he was in disbelief. After all, not too long ago, the young man in front of him had allowed him to kill him without the slightest ability to fight back. How long had it been? With such talent and potential, if this person was given more space to grow, wouldn't he be heaven-defying? "You're not bad, peak of one-line sky." Of course, Long Ao had heard of Lunatic Long before. Lunatic Long was the top genius of the level 6 Long family. He successfully broke through the primordial realm at a young age and entered the 100 battle ranking. He advanced triumphantly all the way to the 78th place of the 100 battle ranking. The 78th place of the 100 battle ranking, peak martial artist of one-line sky. It was conceivable how strong Lunatic Long was. Even if you reach the one-line heavens, so what? Trash will always be trash. You can't make any waves. 10 moves. If I can't defeat you in 10 moves, I'll kill myself here. Kill himself here? Lunatic. Waving his hand, Lunatic Long exuded strong confidence and said, "If I can't defeat this trash in 10 moves, it's useless even if I continue to live in this world." Taking a deep look at his grandson, Long Yinqing finally nodded. He had great confidence in his grandson. In any case, his grandson was not only talented, but also powerful. At such a young age, he had already entered the 78th place of the 100 battle ranking. This achievement alone made him invincible. "If I can't defeat you in 10 moves, I'll kill myself here. But if I'm lucky enough to win, I only hope that the grudge between us won't implicate the family. What do you think?" This time, Long Ao came mainly for this. As for the grudge between him and the level 6 Long family, he would talk about it later. Moreover, as long as the grudge between him and the level 6 Long family was not involved, he would not touch the level 6 Long family in the future. "Okay, I'd like to see how you can defeat me in 10 moves today." Lunatic Long did not believe that the trash in front of him could defeat him in 10 moves. It was as if he had heard the most ridiculous thing in the world. Not to mention Lunatic Long. Even the others had a look of mockery on their faces. It was as if a newborn child wanted to defeat a middle-aged man within 10 moves. Was that even possible? "Father, what do you think are the chances of Lunatic winning?" Thinking of Lunatic Long's potential and talent, Long Hemming did not know why he had a bad feeling. If he was unlucky and his son failed, what would he do in the future? Humph, you know lunatic strength. How can this trash defeat him? Can he defeat lunatic? Seeing his son's worried face, Long Yinching said indifferently, level 78 of the 100 battle ranking. If there is no accident, lunatic should be able to challenge a higher ranking according to his current strength. The 100 battle ranking. Thinking that his son had entered the 78th place of the 100 battle ranking, Long Hemming's face also showed a trace of ruthlessness. After all, his favorite son was killed by this person. If he did not take revenge, how could he face his dead son? The battle of 10 moves. Longao and Lunatic Long stared at each other. The strong fighting intent released from them fiercely collided with each other. They had to admit that Lunatic Long entered the 100 battle ranking at such a young age. Not to mention his strength, his fighting intent alone was not something an ordinary person could have. With the rising fighting intent, everyone around quickly retreated. The aura of a battle between warriors in the one-line sky was enough to crush an ordinary warrior in the acquired heaven. In the whole Long family, only Long Yinching had reached the one-line sky and could stand and watch the battle. Madman Long clenched his fists tightly. His battle intent soared and his killing intent surged. He suddenly said coldly, "No matter what my brother did wrong, you shouldn't have killed him. A murderer must pay with his life. Today, I will take your life and seek justice for my brother." Lunatic Long obviously wanted to kill. As soon as he attacked, he used the Tiger Claw. As a figure ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking, Lunatic Long was not comparable to Long Yulong in strength or actual combat experience. Chapter 49. It was a battle of 10 moves, so both of them tried their best to defeat each other in the shortest time possible. Peak of one-line sky. Powerful strength rolled out, but Madman Long's face completely changed in the next second. His face was full of disbelief. Momentum? Impossible. It's impossible. You just broke through the one-line sky realm. How can you condense momentum? After breaking through the primordial realm, one would have an understanding of the 5 realms of primordial. Momentum was the unique power of evolution masters. As everyone knew, as long as one's cultivation did not break through the evolution realm, it was impossible to condense one's own momentum. With a sneer, Longao said indifferently, "You can't condense momentum, but it doesn't mean that others can't condense momentum. There is always someone better than you." Madman Long, who was full of confidence, was hit in an instant. For a long time, Madman Long thought that his talent was the most powerful. He had reached the peak of one-line sky at a young age and was ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. Who could compare with him? But now, his cultivation had broken through the peak of one-line sky, but he had not succeeded in condensing momentum. But his opponent, a trash who had just stepped into one-line sky, had succeeded in condensing his own momentum. It was clear who was more talented and who was weaker. Momentum? So what? Madman Long's face recovered in an instant. He looked up to the sky and laughed 3 times, saying, "Trash will always be trash. You're just lucky to condense momentum. Today I'd like to see how you can use momentum to defeat me in 10 moves." Longao admired Madman Long very much. He deserved to be ranked on the 100 battle ranking list at a young age. He was calm in the face of danger. His strong confidence and fighting spirit were enough to scare off many people. But this time, Madman Long met Longao. He operated the 7 mysterious sky 7 changes and the 7 mysterious sky fingers. The powerful finger force penetrated everything and shot toward his opponent. In the blink of an eye, the two collided. Madman Long did not take his opponent seriously, but at this moment, he finally knew that his opponent's strength was not below his. The powerful momentum combined with the unparalleled finger force. If Madman Long's Tiger Claw was not too hard, he believed that this finger alone would be enough to penetrate the Tiger Claw. I have to admit that with your talent and potential, if you continue to grow for a few years, your achievements will surpass mine. But you have no chance. Not far away. When the spectators heard Lunatic Long's words, all of them turned pale with fright. No one was a fool. So of course they knew what he meant. "Father, we can't let him live." Waving his hand, Long Yinching said with a stern expression, "If Fenger can't kill him, I'll join the fight too. With the two of us working together, we'll definitely succeed." 2 against 1? Father, if this matter were to spread, I'm afraid that our Long family would lose a lot of face. This child's talent and potential are far beyond what I know. If we continue to stay, our Long family will not only lose face, but will also be destroyed by this child. Long Hemming seemed a little surprised, but he didn't doubt his father's words at all. No chance? Lunatic Long's strength and potential were very strong, but he was too arrogant. Long Ao snorted coldly, and the bloodthirsty broadsword appeared in his hand. He instantly slashed out with the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the 9 blade lights stacked together, instantly completing the stacking power. Lunatic Long, who was about to attack, seemed to be a little surprised. He was caught off guard and couldn't dodge in time. He was almost killed by the stacked blade lights of the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. Everyone was shocked. Seeing Lunatic Long standing up again, they all let out a long sigh of relief. It was also because of this that the way everyone looked at Long Ao had completely changed. Everyone was well aware of Lunatic Long's strength. The 78th place on the 100 battle ranking list was not a place that could be obtained by talking. It was a place that was obtained by relying on real strength and a life-and-death battle. But what about his opponent? If Lunatic Long hadn't dodged in time, he would have been killed by the blade light released by his opponent at this moment. What did this mean? The people present were not fools. Everyone knew very well that the strength of this trash was already able to compete with the number 1 genius of the Long family, who was also the number 1 expert. Lunatic Long's face was extremely ugly as he was almost killed by his opponent's blade. He had been in the martial arts world for so many years and had killed many strong enemies along the way without failing. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to reach this step today. 2 moves have been made. I don't know if you can defeat me with the remaining 8 moves. Don't think that you can be arrogant just because you won by 1 move. Long Ao, I can tell you clearly that you will die today. Even if he was defeated by his opponent, Lunatic Long still had strong confidence. He threw away the tiger claw in his hand and took out a sharp sword from his arms. He sneered and said, "You are indeed very strong, forcing me to use the Dragon Song sword." Hearing this, Long Ao didn't dare to be careless. He held the bloodthirsty broadsword tightly in his hand and said indifferently, "You talk too much nonsense. Ha ha ha, what an arrogant person." With that, Lunatic Long didn't continue to talk nonsense. The Dragon Song sword in his hand was already out lightly. He moved his sword, and at the same time the sword chi shot out, he also rushed out. Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. The bloodthirsty broadsword in Long Ao's hand slashed out fiercely. 9 blade lights layered on top of each other and instantly collided with the sword chi. Sparks flew in all directions as the sword chi and the blade light continued to collide. Quickly retreat. Feeling the sword chi and blade light released by the 2 people, Long Yinching's face suddenly changed. At the same time, he released a trace of chi aura to block the chaotic aura. Everyone knew very well in their hearts that the 2 people had only used their respective unique skills now. Who would win and who would lose would be determined by this battle. As the battle continued to heat up, everyone became more and more shocked because no one would have thought that the trash who was ridiculed by everyone in the Scarlet Fire town would become a super genius who could fight against Lunatic Long in just a few months. Was this the truth? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, no one would have believed it. 3 Dragon Roar moves. Lunatic Long finally used his most powerful primordial martial skill, the 3 Dragon Roar moves. It was with this primordial martial skill that he killed all the strong enemies and finally entered the 78th place in the 100 battle ranking list. It was conceivable how powerful the 3 Dragon Roar moves were. As soon as Long Ao used the 3 Dragon Roar moves, he already knew that the primordial martial skill used by his opponent was extraordinary. He didn't dare to be careless. The bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand instantly slashed out. The second move of the bloodthirsty 8 moves, Heart-Devouring Icebound. At that time, it was with this heart-devouring icebound that Longao successfully escaped from under Yi Hao's nose. It was conceivable how powerful this move was. Both of them used their strongest moves. At the same time, both of them knew very well that success or failure depended on this move. Chapter 50. The strongest move was also the strongest collision. Who would win or lose would be decided by this move. Heart-biting ice turned into an endless blood-colored blade light and slashed down along the sharp blood-sucking broadsword. Lunatic Long thought that it was impossible for his opponent to take his third style of dragon roar. Just after the collision, Lunatic Long's face suddenly changed. He quickly retreated and tried his best to avoid the shocking blade light. But Lunatic Long already knew that with his current strength and speed, it was impossible to avoid it. In other words, he had already lost this move. Lost? Although he didn't want to admit defeat, Lunatic Long knew that he had lost in the end. His opponent's move was too powerful. No one in One Line Sky was his opponent, unless he was an expert of evolution. Without any more resistance, Lunatic Long had chosen to give up. Lunatic Longao, how dare you? Just when Lunatic Long thought that he was going to die this time, he found that the blade light didn't hit him. He was very curious. He opened his eyes and looked at the smiling young man in front of him. He asked, "You won't kill me?" Lunatic Long, I killed your brother. The grudge between us can be settled in the future. I will wait for you. I hope you can keep your promise and don't bring disaster to the family. After that, Longao turned and left. Because of this, everyone was a little confused. They didn't know if water had entered his brain. Such a rare opportunity, but he didn't make a move. Lunatic Long stared at the leaving young man and clenched his fists tightly. Although he didn't die this time, he had fallen from 78th to 79th on the 100 battle ranking, while Longao was promoted to 78th on the 100 battle ranking. Longao, who left, didn't feel the slightest joy from defeating Lunatic Long because he knew that there were many warriors stronger than him on this continent. If a fusion or unification warrior came, he wouldn't have the slightest chance to resist and could only be slaughtered. Are you okay? Lunatic Long shook his head. This defeat seemed to be a blow to him. He said, "This boy's talent and potential are the strongest I have ever seen. Even in a big sect, he is a first-class existence." He seemed a little surprised. Long Yinqing certainly knew that his grandson's knowledge was better than his. Even Lunatic Long praised this boy. It seemed that this boy's talent and potential were really good. Trash? At this moment, Long Yinqing fiercely scolded the person who spread the rumor. His talent was so strong, but he was called trash. Fenger, even if this kid is strong, we might still be able to kill him if we join forces. If we don't remove the roots when cutting the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. We must eliminate all future troubles. After seeing the young man's strength and talent with his own eyes, Long Yinqing was completely afraid. As the saying went, it was better to be safe than sorry. If this young man really became strong, what would happen to his family? Lunatic Long was aware of his grandfather's worries, but he did not intend to do so. No matter what, I will not let anyone hurt my grandson. Longao. He knew what kind of person Lunatic Long was from the battle just now. That was why Longao chose not to kill Lunatic Long in the end. He wanted to make sure that the Long family would not attack his family after he left Thundercloud City. After settling the family's matter, Longao left with a peace of mind. From now on, he would go out to train. He wanted to raise his strength to the highest level in the shortest time possible. At that time, even if Yi Hao came looking for trouble, he would not be afraid. In this continent where martial arts were respected and martial artists ran amok, strength represented everything. In just a few minutes, the news of Longao defeating Lunatic Long had spread throughout the Thundercloud City. Everyone who heard the news was shocked, because no one was willing to believe that the #1 genius of the Long family, the #1 expert of the Thundercloud City, and the number 78th on the 100 battle ranking list was defeated by a level 8 disciple of the Long family. Although many people were used to Longao's counterattacks, they still could not accept such a crazy counterattack. Lunatic Long was ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. His strength was needless to say. But what about Longao? Even if he was talented, he was still ranked 95th on the 100 battle ranking list. Challenges between people on the 100 battle ranking list often happened, but it was almost unheard of for someone ranked 95th to defeat someone ranked 78th. If the news was not true, no one would believe it. Longao defeated Lunatic Long, which meant that from now on, the 100 battle ranking list changed again. Longao jumped from 95th to 78th, while Lunatic Long fell one place to 79th. After a short period of shock and disbelief, everyone in Thundercloud City began to accept it. At the same time, they admired the young man who rose from the Long family in Red Fire Town, besides a trace of envy. He fought with Long Yulong, Yiguqing, and Long Yinqing. The young man never admitted defeat. He would rather die standing than live on his knees. He won everyone's respect. Because of this, everyone soon forgot about the former top genius, Longao. Instead, they remembered the current top genius, Longao. People were like this. They only remembered the winners and did not care about the losers. The Heaven and Earth sect also changed the ranking of the 100 battle ranking list in time. Since then, Longao was not only ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking list, but also regarded as the top expert in Thundercloud City. Even the governor might not be his opponent. The top expert in Thundercloud City and 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. Just these two titles were enough to scare off anyone. It was also because of this that the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family moved into Thundercloud City on a large scale because of Longao's rise. No matter which faction it was, they did not dare to stop them in the slightest. Until now, the Mu family's attitude had changed completely. They did not stop the Long family from moving into Thundercloud City. Instead, they helped them. With the support of the Mu family and the governor's mansion, the Long family's foundation in Thundercloud City expanded tenfold in just a few days. Because of Longao, the 8th grade Long family became a 7th grade Long family again. This was because the family's foundation was not strong enough. Otherwise, the Long family in Red Fire Town would have become a 6th grade family. Chapter 51. Level 7 Long Family. Although it was only a Level 7 Long family, no one dared to underestimate them. This was not because of the family itself, but because of the rise of a genius behind the family. Everyone knew that Longao had appeared in Thundercloud City. However, not many people knew the exact location of Longao in Thundercloud City. Lu Ji found out about it through some reason and told Yi Hao of Skycloud sect. Outside Thundercloud City, Long Imo, Ouyang Fei. Are the Long family and Star Cloud royal family really going to protect this kid? Looking at the people in front of him, Yi Hao's expression was extremely ugly. He thought that he would be able to kill Longao as soon as he found him. But in the end, the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud royal family wanted to protect him. Yi Hao could ignore the others, but the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud royal family were existences that even the master of Skycloud sect would not dare to offend. Yi Hao was furious, but he was also curious and surprised. After all, Longao was just a disciple of a small family. Did the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud royal family eat too much? They were actually standing up for an ant. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he could not kill Longao this time, Yi Hao knew that it would not be easy for him to take revenge for his grandson in the future. Yi Hao already knew about the matter of Longao defeating Lunatic Long. It seemed that he was a little caught off guard by Longao's development. With such talent and potential, he believed that it wouldn't take long for the other party to grow to be as strong as him. At that time, it would really be like cutting the grass without removing the roots, and it would grow again when the spring breeze blew. This time, the Level 5 Long family had sent out an evolved expert. The Star Cloud royal family was even more exaggerated. They had sent out the Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom. Their status was obvious. This was enough to show how high Longao's status was in the eyes of the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud royal family. It was also because of this that Yi Hao was a little surprised. Ouyang Fei sneered. Although the Sky Cloud Martial School was powerful, it was still nothing in the eyes of the Star Cloud royal family. If they could successfully recruit a super genius, a future top warrior, it would not be a bad deal to offend the Sky Cloud Martial School. Yihao, the battle between Longao and Yi Gucheng was a fair one. Life and death are determined by fate. Riches and honor are determined by the heavens. How could Yihao not know what Longamo had said? After all, it was a battle of life and death between cultivators. Life and death were fated, and riches and honor were up to the heavens. However, his most beloved grandson had been killed. He really could not swallow this anger. Was he going to give up on his grandson's revenge just like that? Longamo, does the Long family really want to become enemies with my Flowing Cloud sect? Wait, it's not the Flowing Cloud sect, it's you. We've already communicated with the Flowing Cloud sect, and your sect has already agreed not to participate in this matter. If you insist on taking revenge, why can't we help Longao? The other party's meaning was very clear. Yihao was no fool. Of course, he could understand. It was impossible to say that he did not have any resentment towards the sect. However, Yihao knew that the Sky Cloud sect would not offend the Nebula royal family and the Long family for him unless his cultivation base could break through to the fusion realm. However, breaking through to the fusion realm was easier said than done. Ouyang Fei, the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, was also a cultivation genius. He had already reached the one-line sky at a young age. Yihao, if I were you, I would leave obediently. Who do you think you are? I can tell you clearly that even if you have reached the evolution realm, in the eyes of our Nebula Kingdom, you are nothing. I hope you can understand this. Powerful. Ouyang Fei's strength was not because of his own strength, but because of the power behind him. After all, the one-line sky and the evolution realm were two extremes. However, the Nebula Kingdom was like a huge mountain, firmly placed there. Ouyang Fei, you. Waving his hand, Ouyang Fei did not give Yihao any chance to speak. He sneered and said, Yihao, if it wasn't for the Flowing Cloud sect, we wouldn't even talk to you. If you know what's good for you, scram. Ouyang Fei had brought 2 evolution realm experts with him this time. If Longamo was included, there would be a total of 3 evolution realm experts. How could Yihao fight 1 against 3? But was he really going to give up just like that? If he were to give up just like that, Yihao was really unwilling. But what could he do? After all, the other party had the Nebula royal family and the rank 5 Long family as their backing. Not to mention him, even the Flowing Cloud sect would not dare to provoke the Nebula royal family and the rank 5 Long family. Yihao, don't tell me you still want to continue? Longamo and the other 2 Nebula royal family's evolution realm experts unleashed their powerful chi, intertwining with each other and fiercely suppressing the other party. You guys! Not daring to be careless, Yihao hurriedly unleashed his own chi. However, how could Yihao resist the chi unleashed by the 3 evolution realm experts? Step by step, the chi unleashed by the 3 evolution realm experts was overwhelming. The 3 evolution realm experts did not even put the other party in their eyes. What could the Sky Cloud sect's elders do? Enough. After stopping the 3, Ouyang Fei did not want to make this a big deal. Although the Nebula royal family was not afraid of the Sky Cloud sect, they could not go too far. Once they killed Yihao, it would be hard to explain to the Sky Cloud sect. After the 3 chi disappeared, Yihao let out a long sigh of relief. The mountains will not change and the rivers will always flow. We will meet again. In the end, Yihao chose to give up. Regardless of whether he could take revenge in the future, he understood one thing. A wise man does not fight when the odds are against him. If the Sky Cloud sect did not show up to kill him, not only would he not be able to take revenge, he would also lose his life. Wait. Longao, who had not spoken yet, suddenly spoke. Everyone was curious. They did not know what Longao wanted to do, since Yihao was about to leave. Could it be that Longao wanted to fight back? Hearing Longao's words, Yihao's expression changed drastically. He turned his head and stared at him coldly. His voice was like hell as he said coldly, Longao, don't go too far. Don't think that just because you have the support of the rank 5 Long family and the Nebula royal family, you can bully me as you wish. Completely ignoring Yihao's angry face, Longao said calmly. 1 year later, I will personally go to the Sky Cloud sect to challenge you. At that time, I will defeat you in front of everyone. 1 year? Ha ha ha, good. 1 year later, I will wait for you at the Sky Cloud sect. Yihao's face was full of disdain and happiness. After all, he could take revenge for his grandson in 1 year. Chapter 52. A Year's Promise. Yihao had full confidence that he could defeat and kill Yihao in a year's time. Although Yihao's potential and talent were the strongest he had ever seen, was it possible for Yihao to break through the evolution realm and reach his level in a year's time? No matter if others believed it or not, he would never believe it. Looking at Yihao, who had already left, Longamo and Ouyang Fei were both anxious. They could not understand why Yihao would make a year's promise with Yihao since they had already helped him. Could it be that Yihao was so confident that he could defeat Yihao in a year's time? Not to mention Yihao, even Longamo and Ouyang Fei did not believe it. Ouyang Fei sighed deeply and said, Brother Long, why do you have to do this? Thank you, Crown Prince and Senior Longamo, for your help. Longao will definitely repay your kindness today. Brother Long, since you and I feel like old friends, and I am a few years older than you, why don't you call me Big Brother Ouyang and I call you Brother Long? Ouyang Fei seemed to be a little surprised. He did not know why the Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom would take such good care of him and even call him brother. Thinking about it, Longao instantly understood the Crown Prince's intention. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew the Crown Prince's intention. If he was the trash that everyone called him 10 years ago, would Ouyang Fei still treat him like this? The answer was easy to see. However, living in this world where martial arts were respected, one had to follow the rules of this world. Otherwise, the one who would suffer in the end would be himself. Big Brother Ouyang, thank you. Ha ha ha, good. Brother Long, don't worry. A year later, I will accompany you to the Flowing Cloud sect. I also want to see how dangerous the Flowing Cloud sect is. Longao, if you don't mind, I am also willing to accompany you. No matter what Ouyang Fei and Longmo's goal was, the two of them being able to do this was already enough. Smiling, Longao said confidently, Thank you, Big Brother Ouyang and Senior Longamo. A year later, I will definitely defeat Yihao. Looking at the strong confidence of the young man in front of them, Longamo and Ouyang Fei were both surprised. The two looked at each other and smiled. After all, actions spoke louder than words. Brother Long, if you don't mind, why don't you come with me to Star Cloud City? Longao, the family head would also like to meet you. Actually, in Longao's heart, he did not want to go to Star Cloud City. However, no matter what, Longamo and Ouyang Fei had helped him. If he were to refuse, it would be somewhat unkind. Since I've never been to Star Cloud City before, I might as well go and take a look. Looks like I'll have to bother the two of you. Ouyang Fei and Longamo both laughed heartily when they heard that. As for the news of Longao challenging Yihao, it spread throughout the entire Thundercloud City. Everyone who received the news broke out in cold sweat for Longao, but most of them were filled with anticipation. After all, Longao had given them too many unexpected and counterattacks. The promise of a year. Nebula City, the central city of the Nebula Kingdom. The Nebula royal family was located here. There was also a level 5 Long family, a super family clan, overseeing the city. The Martial Heaven continent was divided into 9 provinces. The Martial Heaven continent had 2 large empires. They were the Flame Empire and the Thunder Empire. As for the Star Cloud Kingdom, it was one of the stronger empires of the Thunder Empire. The strongest families of the Star Cloud Kingdom were gathered in Star Cloud City. The strongest martial artists were gathered there. Here, it was possible to provoke a powerful martial artist at any time. Unless you were a spoiled young master or someone blind, no one would dare to be arrogant in Star Cloud City. After several days of continuous travel, Longao and the others finally arrived at Star Cloud City. Looking at the huge city walls, Longao was a bit surprised. Whether it was Scarlet Flame Town or Thundercloud City, they were on a completely different level compared to Star Cloud City. Longamo and Ouyang Fei weren't surprised at all. They had seen this kind of expression far too many times. Ouyang Fei smiled. Brother Long, do you want to go directly to the palace or come later? No, I want to take a good look at Star Cloud City. I'll go to the palace in a bit. All right, then I'll wait for Brother Long in the palace. It seemed Ouyang Fei had something important to do. He whipped his horse and quickly left, disappearing without a trace. Longao, when will you come to my Long family? Whether it was the 9th rank, 5th rank, or 6th rank Long family, they were all branches of the Long family. But under normal circumstances, the higher-level Long family looked down on the lower-level Long family. In truth, Longao did reject the higher-level Long family to a certain extent. He shook his head. I won't go for now. I want to temper myself first. It won't be too late for me to go after I break through. Longamo seemed to understand Longao's character. He didn't force him. After saying a few polite words, he quickly left. After Ouyang Fei and Longamo left, Longao felt a lot more relaxed. It was better for him to be alone and free. What Nebula Royal family, what rank 5 Long family, what they valued was his talent and potential. If one day he became a trash again, he was afraid that both parties would be the most heartless. Without thinking about anything else, Longao paid the entrance fee and smoothly entered Star Cloud City. This was Longao's first time leaving Thunder Cloud City. When he walked into Star Cloud City, he realized that the difference between Chihua Town and Thunder Cloud City was like the difference between a child and an adult. Longao first found a restaurant and ordered a table full of dishes. He ate alone. Star Cloud City was packed with people. At a glance, there were people everywhere. Among them, 20% were warriors. Longao could clearly sense that there were powerful warriors outside. Among them, there was even a Xiantian master. Have you heard? Princess Zixia of the Imperial family is publicly looking for a groom. Whoever can kill a purple-winged blood gold lion and take its beast core to refine spirit recovery pills will be married immediately. Really? Old Hay, are you thinking of killing a purple-winged blood gold lion? Don't joke around. I heard that purple-winged blood gold lion is an extremely ferocious beast. Its strength is terrifying. Not to mention you, even a Xiantian master might not be able to kill it. Purple-winged blood gold lion? Of course, Longao knew about the purple-winged blood gold lion that these people were talking about. Purple-winged blood gold lion was a Xiantian spiritual beast. It was incomparably powerful. Not only was it cruel, but it could also communicate with lightning. Unless there was no other choice, no one would want to provoke a purple-winged blood gold lion. Of course, Longao didn't think about Princess Zixia's groom search. There was only one name in his mind, purple-winged blood gold lion. If he could kill it and get its beast core, wouldn't he be able to refine spirit recovery pills? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.